Hey there, we just wanted to let you know that there may be some content in here with some colorful language or off-color topics, and we wanted to let you know ahead of time, so please listen at your own discretion.
Yeah, we're on the air for our not live show.
I'm going to put this in, and then I have to blank out that word.
Okay.
Beep it out, censor it out.
Yeah. Hello, welcome to the Anabasis Podcast, episode number 6.
The big 6.
The big 6. And today we have David.
Hello.
I'm AJ, and then we have a guest today.
What's going on, everybody? My name's Seth.
Hi, Seth. Nice shirt. Good product
Hello.
placement.
Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah, we got the other product placement going on, so I might as well wear the T-shirt.
Don't tell them about this. It's secret. We have music. The band Anabasis makes music from time to time. We have some for you if you would like to listen on all major streaming services such as Spotify, Apple Music. Is iTunes still a thing?
Kind of.
Google Play, any of that crap.
I think it's Apple Music now, right? Is that
It's
what they
Apple
call
Music, but iTunes is still a thing, but you just have Apple Music.
it? Yes.
So listen, if you are so inclined. We also have stuff on YouTube. You can listen to the album there. Give us some likes and some subscriptions. We assume that if you're watching this, you're watching it on YouTube, and you have already subscribed. If not, please do.
You got to hit the notification bell, too.
Yes.
Yes.
Ring, smash, destroy, decimate, murder, go Jeffrey Dahmer upon, whatever you have to do to that bell.
Right.
We
Please
want you
do
to
it.
know that we're doing this stuff for you and
Correct.
only you. Beyond that, check out our Bandcamp, anabasismetal.bandcamp.com for merch. I can't say physical music because Brad doesn't like that term. So CDs, if you're living in the past with me. And maybe some other fun stuff there. I'm not sure what we even have up. So, hats. Really nice hats. Buy
We
those
do
hats.
have nice hats.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I might
Super
get one of
slick.
Totally.
I'm a hat guy, dude.
Same. Big time.
We'll have to hook you up. And then, that's it, guys.
Yeah.
Hi, hello.
Hello.
All right, we'll talk to you next time.
Yep. It's been fun. Thanks for coming by, man. Fuck yeah. No, Seth does Clear Shots podcast,
Yeah.
and you guys are like 2 years in now, right?
Yeah, it's been about 2 years.
Something like that. Episode 100 is coming up.
Yeah. Well, by the time this comes out, it'll be out, so.
Yeah, for sure.
But
yeah.
we just recorded it a couple days ago. And it's crazy, man. Like, you basically just sit down and talk with people, and that's the general idea of it. And
Yeah.
I think it's a blast.
I
so
love it,
we've been
man.
doing it for a while, and we like to have people. Sometimes I have guests come in that I don't even know, and Jake's friends with, or and
Yeah.
you just get to talk to random people, or you catch up with friends that you haven't talked to in a long time, and
Yep.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
You really
I'm
can't
excited
beat it.
about
I
this
mean-
shit because it's like I've known you for the majority of my aware life.
Yeah,
Like we met when I was like 17, and now I'm 31.
Yeah.
So
Well, the thing is,
been a long time, man.
podcasting is so cheap to get into that it's like,
Yeah.
why would you not? Like,
Yeah.
there's no reason not
Yeah.
to.
I mean, we were just talking shop before we got everything up and running
Right.
here, and we're just talking about like, oh, this camera's like $70. That's an investment for
Yeah.
a long time, and
Yeah.
you get so much use out of it,
I mean, it's so weird too. I mean, I know people do it with just their phone. Like Bill Burr does his podcast with just his own mic, and it's just him talking into his microphone by himself.
That's the Monday morning one he does.
yeah, and
yeah,
it takes that
And
costs him
it's-
nothing.
Costs him zero. He just does it into his phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do that now,
Mm-hmm.
and if you have good content, people latch onto it.
Absolutely.
That's with anything though.
And Bird's
Yep.
fucking hilarious. So
Yeah, it's so important. Like, it's such a booming market now, and I feel like some people probably would try to argue it's oversaturated. I disagree, because the thing about podcasts is that people are looking for such specific conversations to be taking place that they want to feel like they're in by listening to a podcast regularly and getting to know the people involved and fully investing, right?
Yeah.
There's so much room for every little specific conversation between a group of friends to inhabit that market
Right.
and have their own space, you know?
And I think the fact that there's a podcast about everything
yeah.
it's
proof.
all encompassing. Like
Yeah.
anybody can listen to it, and anything that you're interested in, there's a podcast about it.
Absolutely.
I love that you can tag from one to the other, like, so I'm a big fan of certain stand-ups. So I watched Your Mom's House podcast
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
Tom
me
and
too. It's
Christina
great.
do.
Amazing.
And
Yep.
then because of that, I started watching Joey Diaz's podcast.
Yeah.
And then, I mean,
Which
like,
is amazing.
I feel like anybody who thinks about podcasts is familiar with Joe Rogan.
I mean, I think it's the greatest
So
talk
you
show
can
of our
you can
generation.
just type in GARE and then whoever you want, and
yeah,
he'll have
yeah.
it.
Chances
you know?
are he's
Yeah.
So I start with Tom, and then it leads me to their podcast. And
yeah.
I've kind of tapered off on H3 because Ethan's just a cringe lord now. But
That's
Yeah.
okay. He's
I
made
watched-
it, dude. He's good.
yeah, he doesn't have to try.
Yeah, I
anymore.
He doesn't have to
some of
try.
them.
He's good.
I just think it's gotten so big recently through comedy and stuff.
Yes,
like that.
comedy's been big.
Every
They're
comedian has a
running it.
I've been
podcast.
watching the Whitney Cummings one now.
Yep,
She's
it's
got
good.
one.
Yeah.
Nikki Glazer, I think, has one.
And
She's
then
pretty funny.
there's Theo's,
Theo,
and
yeah.
there's Theo and Brendan Schaub.
Delia's got one.
Is so ridiculous.
Bert's got his.
I know.
Bert Kreischer.
Yep,
Bert
Bert
and
and
Bill
Tom.
Burr just started.
Yeah, the
doing
second
one, too.
oh,
episode.
Bert and Bill did
Yeah.
too.
They sit down and drink scotch and smoke cigars, and however long the
awesome.
cigar is like however long the podcast.
That's
is.
amazing.
It's a good
Bert
idea.
and Tom started one that's called
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Two Bears.
Two Bears, One Cave.
Yeah,
It's
that's
so
hilarious.
good. The one where he shows him the fucking dance video and he stabs the machine guy. Oh my god, dude, that was like probably 40 grand well spent. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, they're all killing, man. It's cool to see too because I've been following Rogan for like
Yeah.
I've been following his podcast
And
for
it's
whatever
just-
10 years or whatever
Yeah,
now.
it gets bigger and bigger.
And
every
I
year.
found out who all those guys are because they were his friends and they were guests on the podcast. And it's so cool to see all those people's
Mm-hmm.
careers like flourish from we're just fans.
Yeah.
You know? Like Brendan Schaub is the greatest example of all time of that for
Oh,
me
yeah.
because one, I'm a diehard MMA fan. I've been following it heavily since like 2004, 2005 when Pride was still around and was the big deal. And I've always followed it ever since. So I was familiar with who he was as a fighter because he was a top 10
Right.
ranked heavyweight in UFC. I saw his fight with
He was a good
Crow
fighter.
Cop, and
He
I
was
was
a
like,
good fighter.
whoa,
He's an
he's
athletic
good.
guy.
He was very good, yeah. But Rogan was
on
right.
He was on the
losing.
Ultimate Fighter, and
Yes, he was
Ultimate Fighter
Fighter.
10 or whatever. And I
Yeah,
don't
he
know
was
if
a runner
won
up.
it or
He lost to Roy Nelson in the
Yeah.
finals. But either way, he went from that and through the podcast and through starting Fighter the Kid with Callan,
yeah.
shifted his whole world, man. And now look at him. He drives a fucking Ferrari and shit. And he's made
and I
it.
think Rogan understood that like he had a career that Schaub had a career in podcasting.
Yeah,
and
he saw
comedy.
it from a mile away. And was
Yeah,
like, "What do
and
you?"
he was
dude,
trying to save his
he was
brain,
like,
basically.
He was like,
It's
you are top 10 because you're really athletic and it
Yeah.
gets you in that mix, but you're not gonna beat these Verdum and Stipe. And like Stipe probably wasn't around at the time. He might have been fighting, but I don't think he was in the picture the way that like
No,
Alistair
certainly
Overeem and friggin' Verdum and DC and. You know,
Yeah,
just all these guys that were potential heavyweight threats. That he's like, "What are you doing? You're gonna fight Cain Velasquez. You're gonna go fight him." And he was just like, and he's just going, like, don't, like, you have something else you could do, and it changed his life.
Exactly.
And that shit's so cool to see.
Yeah, he's doing great now. So
But that's to like speak to the concept of like. You sit down with a group of friends that you actually know you can communicate with well, and you get to know people better than you did before. And
Yeah,
you
that's what
just
I was
talk,
saying.
And it's easy to do. You want to do it,
Right.
and it could change your life.
yeah.
So I like to me, I'm taking the advice of when I watch Rogan and he goes, I'm telling every single person in the world start a podcast because there's going to be a market for it.
Mm-hmm.
And what excuse do you need to sit down with your friends and have a conversation?
But yeah, that's
for
what I mean.
hours,
Even
like-
if there isn't a market for it, I mean, it's a hobby that you can get into
Yes.
and do whether people care about it or not.
And you have it as documentation of
Right.
funny conversations you had with your friends for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
There's so many things.
There's too many
that
positives.
I feel like get lost when you're just bullshitting, and
Yes.
it's such a
Yeah.
shame.
So many gems, dude.
Because now that we've been doing this, like when we're hanging out and we're just like, oh yeah, that feet thing or whatever the stupid jokes are.
Yeah,
And we're
yeah.
just like, fuck, that could have been great on the podcast.
Yep. Now we know.
Yeah. It's all the funny shit comes up before you press record, you know.
Correct.
That's
yeah.
what always happens.
Yeah, that's something we were talking about earlier too, is how when we do these things, we have a really bad habit that I can't imagine how you're going to break it, how any of us
No,
are,
you can't.
where
chance.
we start having in-depth conversation before we hit record, and we've got to not do that.
Whatever.
Although, like, rolling starts are cool. Like,
Yeah, but
if
what
we
are you going to
record
do? Just be
and come
silent
in playing
until
it's like, yeah, I'm not going to be like, reserve it, save it,
hold
man.
on, say
No,
nothing.
That's not happening.
Stop being funny. God.
Yeah.
What the fuck's wrong with you? So, movies.
Yeah,
Yeah, what
dude.
about
I have been dying to talk about people with a few different movies that I've seen recently.
What do you got?
So, I watched Hereditary not that long
Oh
ago.
my God, yeah.
Did you see it?
I don't know.
I'm a fan of that one.
I don't think so.
Well, that one's
When
dead
I
in the
that
water.
movie when I first when I first saw it, I was like, that's the best. That movie's the best.
I just
That's like
watched
the
it.
best horror movie or whatever you want to call
I
it.
just watched it like 2 nights ago.
I don't
for
think
the
it is,
fourth time.
but it's great.
In recent memory, I feel like I know like the word debut is so dicey.
Yeah.
With like, this is the debut from this director. Like he's probably done like
And then he
commercials or
did
some shit
Midsummer
before
and
that.
it flopped. And I'm sure he's gonna get another chance. He's gonna do
I liked
something else.
Midsummer.
and it's
I
not
just
gonna
liked it
flop,
for
you
a
know?
different reason.
Yeah.
But
What was
whoa.
It's fucking
Something's
Audio?
going on with his mic. Yeah.
And we're back. Anyway,
Are you good?
Yeah,
whatever.
Okay, yeah, we're fine. We're fine.
But like, that's supposedly that guy's debut. Like that's his first feature
That's
length
the-
movie
it's
put
his
out.
first feature
And
film.
the
yeah.
attention to detail in that movie, like if you
Oh,
haven't
it's so
seen it,
good.
but like I can't give you spoilers because that's the whole point of the movie.
I
You
But
know
need
I've
to
heard
yeah,
of
no
it,
spoilers.
like, a
You
million
gotta
times.
see it.
the way that they constructed it, like the fact that the whole house was like on a soundstage, so they could take walls out,
They
and
could
they
do
have
whatever
these
they
really
want, yeah.
interesting shots that you would never be able to get in like a real tangible house.
Yeah.
And they have like the attention to detail with the framing and the subtle clues throughout that when you watch it the second, third, or I just watched it the fourth time,
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's an even
It's
deeper
so
layer of
good,
shit that
dude,
I didn't
yeah.
notice.
So
Like
that movie's
it's,
a instant
to
classic.
me, it's super
instant
clever.
Classic.
It's very much in the realm of like a Rosemary's Baby,
correct,
kind of
but
like
done in modern ways.
paranoia, but there's actually more of a payoff.
I
Yeah.
always like those movies where when you watch them the second and third time, you're like, oh shit, there's another layer here.
Yes.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean that to me that shows how great the filmmaker really
Yeah.
is. You know?
Right.
To me, the most important factor to that is this: peppering in little bits and pieces that are there for the second, third, fourth viewer
Yeah.
without exposing anything, so that the first viewer can watch it and they don't have any clue.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't give it away, because I've seen where they go too far into the realm of foreshadowing with that,
Uh-huh.
and then it's just you're spoiling your own plot for the viewer.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's what I think about like Hereditary specifically was awesome because there's, if anyone hasn't seen the film, there's things in there that are very subtle that you won't necessarily notice, but even if you do, it doesn't
matter. You're
put
like,
the
what's
picture
that?
together for you.
Until you see
Until
the whole
the
movie,
end,
and then you're
yeah.
like, oh my fucking God.
Or
Yeah.
until you think back after you've seen the end,
Yes.
basically.
Yes.
I know
yes.
The Prestige was a lot like that for me.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
Prestige is like one of, oh my God.
I feel like anything Nolan touches
man.
is
Nolan
fucking
is the
spotless.
master
Like,
of our time.
Yeah.
A really good movie, a really good like classic movie at this point that is a good example of that being pulled off really well is the Sixth Sense. Because it's hard to say that now because we've all seen it a million times. But when that movie first came out, nobody had any fucking clue that he was, spoiler alert, yeah, right, that he was fucking a ghost the whole time, you know? And you watch it and you know, this boy talks, he sees dead people, everybody's he's trying to help
you
people,
just take
and you
for
never
granted.
question
Yeah.
that it's Bruce Willis,
just like
though.
he's fine.
The whole time. He's right there. You never question. You're like, yeah, of course. And then if you watch it the second time, you go, oh, all the adults aren't looking at him and stuff.
Yeah.
And you never even notice because it's well done.
Right.
Well, that's a very, very rare, perfect fucking movie from M. Night Shyamalan.
And it sure as
It
fuck
was
is.
like
It's not an
probably-
accident. It's
Probably
No,
his only
no.
perfect.
It's skill, yeah. Because Signs is the next closest thing you could point to, and it has the dumbest plot, like the worst plot twist of all his
I don't
movies.
even remember Science.
Signs is like
Water
one
is
of the top
bad.
5 best alien movies ever made. Like it's so good, so well designed, and then at the end, the aliens with technology of interstellar travel come to Earth,
Spoiler alert.
and they are damaged by water.
Oh, that's
So
it?
like,
Just
like
water?
doesn't he
Yeah.
like
Like
I've-
water is their kryptonite.
I've,
so
like, never even
he like
Why
hits-
did they come to Earth?
Because they're fucking
There you
stupid.
go.
Do your recon.
No.
The Earth is like 70% water.
because M. Night Shyamalan
Or 60,
blew his
whatever.
twist. on an incredible movie with the worst twist of all time. Because you're like, oh, so they can fly through space, but they wouldn't go, man, there's a ton of water on that.
Yeah,
we're gonna
we
not
should
go
probably
there.
back
We're gonna
off.
not go there.
The only other thing I could say that, which is a really long shot and a really weak justification, is they're from a planet where water isn't a thing and they don't know. Whatever.
I've never thought of that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
Something
like,
tells me they're going to know.
water, it
Yeah, you figured
seems
out
like-
space travel though. So that's
I
still a
would
tough
say
sell for me.
water seems
But I
like a
hear ya.
pretty common like element. For
well,
Very
okay,
common,
we
yeah.
say that, right?
We say it
All
because
right,
we
let's
take it for granted.
Let's be douchebags about this. What other planet in our solar system has actual liquid water on it right now
Mars
that we know
confirmed
about?
now. Mars
So
does.
one other
but
one.
isn't hydrogen like one of
One,
the
that's it.
fucking pretty common?
Where's the oxygen that goes with it to make water, dude? Science
I mean,
is shit.
hydrogen is the most common element in everything, right?
I've never been to
hydrogen.
space, dude, so I don't know.
Me neither.
Nobody has. It's fake, right?
I'm
You
gonna
haven't- the moon landing was fake, right?
butcher this, and make myself look like a fool. But I am one, so why I don't care. But my brother's not, and I'm pretty sure he told me that they're trying to work on how to make a machine that can go faster than light. And I don't even know if they're actually working on this. But when he was going to college for physics, he told me that one of the ideas that they had come up with a concept was to make something that burned either hydrogen or carbon. I can't remember which one, but I think it was hydrogen. Or no, you know what? I think it was carbon. But either way, it burns that because it's in fucking absolutely everything, and it's just out in space.
Yeah.
And so you could always be refueled, and it would just always gain speed the more fuel it burns, and so it would eventually get to like the speed of light. But you could never put anything in that.
Yeah,
So
you're
what's
dead.
the point?
You're
Yeah,
going to
like
die.
wouldn't that like
You're
just
smoked.
liquefy a human? Like,
Wicked bad. Yeah.
Seems
humans-
dangerous, I think.
so
Dude,
switching
Mach
gears.
2, you like pass out.
Switching gears, human
And crash
bodies.
the jet.
Human bodies are the dumbest fucking design, while also being the most like incredible, miracle,
Yeah,
brilliant
I
design.
fucking
Dude, people
hate
have
human
passed out on the
bodies.
fucking teacups. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, how are they
But
gonna-
also
Yeah,
you can,
dude.
but like you
Or
can
get launched
withstand,
out of them.
you can withstand like a fucking 300-foot plane crash fall. Like those stories, like they're rare, but like the people that
Yeah.
fall out of planes with no parachute,
You have
and
to-
like they might break a leg, but they live.
Yeah. Well, you got to
where-
tuck and roll at the end.
But like, but
Yeah,
if I
right at the last second.
But if I'm 6.5 feet tall, and if I fall forward onto my face and my nose bone snaps into my brain, I fucking
You're
die
torched.
instantly.
Yeah, you're torched, yep.
Like, how stupid is this
Dude,
fucking design?
You're 6'6", and if you walk downstairs the wrong way, you're never walking the same again because your knee goes.
Oh, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for my ankle to just splinter.
I'm only like 6'2", 6'1",
Like, you know,
and it's the same problem for
you know
me.
the
My knees are
X-ray moves
trash.
in the newer Mortal Kombat. I'm
Yes.
just ready for me
You're
to
just a
like
walking
be
X-ray
walking
move.
one day. I'm ready for me to be walking one day, and I find like just like a gopher hole, and my ankle just goes,
Yeah.
and it just.
Yep.
And you can tell. You're like, oh, I'm shockwaved.
It just
This is terrible.
explodes.
I always imagine one of
That's a
my.
new one for you.
I always feel like one of my shins is just gonna compound fracture one day just from walking.
Yeah.
Do you ever?
I've seen too many kickboxing and MMA fights where there's a leg snap,
Yeah,
and I've
yeah.
seen the Sid Vicious clip
like the
more than
jelly
any clip I've
leg.
ever seen anything.
And then
so I'm
what's-
so scared of my fucking leg
What about
snapping.
the?
like that.
What was the basketball player there that did that too?
Oh no, that's
yeah.
such
Oh,
a bad
that was
one.
I don't remember what his
gnarly.
name is.
But either way,
I'm not a
there's Sid
basketball
Vicious
fan.
is the most important one of all time.
Oh, yeah.
because he tried to do a big boot off the second rope, and
That
it's
was a
like,
bad
who
move.
convinced you of that?
But also,
How
we-
could you be
we-
convinced of that?
We saw Brock Lesnar try a moonsault also.
He
so.
tried to shooting star
that
press.
works. That
Shooting
works
star
well.
press,
and almost
that's
broke
right.
his neck. But man, that was crazy though.
I just imagine like one day I'll just be walking and my kneecap will just shoot off like a
Yeah,
projectile.
Correct.
Because
It'll just
everything
go
is.
boop and
I mean,
launch up.
what even
It's
keeps
like
our
those
shit
guys-
together? Like ligaments and stuff. What
It's
the fuck
such a
ever?
mess.
It's all
I
just
don't
water.
understand it.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, it's all just water and guts.
Guts.
It's like when you see clips of just jackass guys, not actual jackass guys, dumbass jackass
Super
wannabe
humming?
kids, super humming and shit. But it's the ones where they're like, my parents are rich and I have too much time on my hands, so I'm gonna jump off our roof into this bush, and they overshoot the bush and they jump from 2.5 stories up off a roof onto their feet,
Yeah.
standing,
They're
and just
insured.
go. Whew, and it's like you're like how
Their
do you
knee-
not see their legs?
Their kneecaps
go, like,
shoot off.
Here's your upper leg. Here's your thigh.
leg
Here's your
bones
shin,
just
and it
come
doesn't just go.
through.
Yeah, how does that not
It's like
happen?
it's like that show Scarred
What?
that used to be
Scarred
on
was
MTV.
the most disgusting
Where
show
the
of all
guy
time.
the guy
That's
was
hardest to
riding a
watch show of all
fucking
time.
dirt bike and he landed really hard and he hit the dirt and then his arm bones just popped through his wrist
Yeah,
and dug
dude.
through the dirt.
Oh my god! bad.
It was the gnarliest
That's
thing
so
ever.
gross. How about the worst clip of all time, in my opinion?
love it, though.
There's clips I'm not even thinking of. That show is disgusting. But the one with the dude on the bike who jumps the Leon set or whatever, like 30
Yeah.
stairs, and he lands, and his front axle blows, and he slams on his fucking face first. After all that drop, and skids on his fucking face like fucking 18 feet. It's so bad.
You can break
It's
every
so
limb
bad.
at the same time, but like ripped up
Your
faces
face
or
is
like
the-
missing
that's the-
teeth, I can't do that shit.
Yeah, faces.
I've been watching like Supercross sometimes, like every once in a while, and it is so
Supercross is cool.
wild
I like
that
watching that.
they don't always get injured.
Yeah, what the
They're
fuck?
spending more time in the air than they are
Yeah.
on the fucking ground.
Supercross, the video games are fun. The video games are two
they're
things.
so
They're
much
either fun, really fun, or they're really bad, really bad.
Yes, there's no in
And
between.
if they're fun, they're fucking awesome. But real life, it's like, how are they alive?
So much jumping.
I need you guys to connect with me on this, and I hope this lands.
What do you got for me?
There was a game on PS2
Yep, we're gonna know what it is.
that I
We're
got
gonna know what it is.
as a greatest
There's
hits,
no way we're not.
and every song was like an Alice in Chains song.
Motocross
Yeah,
madness.
And it was that.
It's Motocross, man.
No. It was that fucking ATV game.
Oh, Off-Road Fury. Off-Road
Yes,
Fury.
yes.
Yeah, no question.
With like the endless desert, and you just like no.
to AC/DC and fucking
fucking-
Alice in Chains and shit.
I would just drive in
Fighters.
circles
Foo
in that
Fighters, yep.
stupid game for hours, listening
It was
to
so
just
fun just hitting jumps though.
fucking Alice in Chains.
It was the
Dude.
only.
The best fucking bike game ever made though is Dave Mirra Pro BMX.
Oh, yeah.
There is no equal because it ran off the old fucking Thrasher engine by Rockstar, dude.
Yeah, that's how you got to do it.
Dave Mirra is the best fucking. I like Dave Mirra
Did he
more
die?
than
I
I
think
like
he
Tony
died.
Hawk sometimes. He committed suicide.
Oh, that's way worse.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's a bummer, man.
Speaking
I
of-
loved that.
All right, let's
guy.
make it funny though. Speaking of people who are probably going to commit suicide, have you seen all of the
What the
Have you
fuck?
seen all
I
of
like
the
where this is
fucking
going.
the joke posts about Tony Hawk? Like he puts them up on Instagram.
he'll
be
never-
like,
he's not gonna be
he'll be
suicide.
like in a fucking
No way.
restaurant, and the waitress goes, "You look like Tony Hawk," and he's like, "I am," and she just goes,
She
"Why?"
just geeks. Yeah, why? I love
he's
that.
just like, "How the fuck do I answer that?"
Yeah, what is that?
That's the dumbest shit.
I would be like, I don't have the time to break down how dumb that fucking response is, bitch. And then I'd fucking leave
That's
without
hilarious,
paying.
though. How
And then
could
when
you-
she goes, "You didn't pay," I'd go, "I'm Tony Hawk, bitch. Fuck off."
Call Activision; they'll give you
Yeah,
something.
Activision.
Wasn't that game like one of the worst games ever put out? Like the
No,
newer
no, no,
one?
no, no, no.
The newer one.
Five
Before it got
was.
patched or
Five
whatever?
is like top 10 worst games ever made. It's
I
unacceptable.
never even touched it.
Because there was
Everything from like
there was, like, the
Underground
one that was just
2
broken.
back is so legendary.
It might have been the like one of the brand newest ones.
It's
I think.
5.
Is
It's
it
for a fact.
Because
It was-
one of them was just
Yeah.
like broken out of the box, and then they patched it, and it's still broken.
And it was like 5 months after they released it, they shut the servers down permanently, and
Yeah.
the servers are required to play the game.
yeah, so
So they just battled on
you
their
just
own
bricked the
$60 game, dude. $60.
Yeah, who the fuck are they? Ubisoft? Oh, sorry.
Whoa.
Can't justify that, man.
EA?
EA. I can get Darth Vader. Just have to spend like
Activision.
$120. It's fine, dude.
Every major game developer except for
Darth
or not
Vader.
developer.
Did you guys all see the new
it's,
Star Wars?
It's a publishing problem.
I saw it. Yeah.
New Star Wars was incredible.
Is it
Loved
like
it.
a dead horse if we talk about it?
Why? We've
I
all
saw
seen
it.
it, right?
I mean,
We've
by
all
the
seen
time
it.
this comes out, it'll be out in theaters.
I only have one complaint with it, and I don't want to give spoilers. I don't want to give spoilers.
Not at all?
We'll be safe.
Okay.
We'll be
Spoil
safe.
everything.
Okay.
We can have the spoiler conversation another time, but the only thing I'm going to say about it with no spoilers is it feels like Abrams made a film that he really wanted to tell all the stories he wanted to tell and conclude that whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like his film is 5 hours long, and Disney went, nope, and
Yeah.
just cut it
Yeah.
to
yeah.
fuck. So the film, when you watch it, like the story that takes place, I didn't have any problems with personally.
Right.
I enjoyed the film. It's fucking Star Wars. I love the story they told me. I was very happy. I cried like a dozen times. It maxed
yeah.
me out so bad. But I'm such a diehard Star Wars fan. I was so invested in the characters and just all the little details in the story of finals and things they say, and just it was so powerful.
So I saw.
but it was rushed as hell, dude. dude.
I
So
saw
rushed.
a bunch of everybody online immediately has an opinion, whether they are like a movie person
It's
or
always
just
Well,
like,
but of course,
whatever.
I
mean,
yeah.
we're doing
It's
the same
why
thing right
everybody's
now.
a political expert right now.
But
too.
fucking the speculation that I saw from a lot of people was just because the first one was like it was Abrams, right, and then Ryan Johnson took over.
you
And
saw that, right?
yeah, I did.
Through it.
That was
and,
cool.
and then
Yeah,
it went
that
back to
worked.
Abrams. So like, if you pose it to me in that way, as far as like writing style, content, and like how those three movies arced, I can get on board with that. I feel like the second one very much doesn't fit in with the other two.
The second one doesn't fit with the two, and that's undeniable. I think that Force Awakens was incredible. It was a great start to the
I
trilogy.
thought it was a really good
loved it.
remake of Episode 4.
I loved it, and it was the right move to make. It was. I want them to make movies that are safe
Yeah.
and crowd pleasing. I want you to tell me a story that is not necessarily going to be left field or right field, so to speak.
Right.
But
It
is
was
going to be
fun.
maximum impact on the crowd in a good
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
yes, like I understand. Like we've all seen Force Awakens by this point. It's safe to talk about the big thing in Force Awakens,
They all
which is
die.
Han, right?
Hey, hold on, fuck
Right,
you.
right. It's Han in
Yeah,
that movie.
Snape
yeah,
kills Dumbledore.
right. Han dying is very tragic, very sad. It melted me when I saw that in the theater,
Right.
and that's a bummer.
And then
but
Harrison
it's
Ford cashed
great,
his check and he was like, fuck yeah,
but
I'm
it's
out of
great
here.
storytelling. But it's great storytelling, and it sets up for things in a way that's logical and that I am okay with. You know what I mean?
Especially with the third film, I think
Yeah, but
what set up and what happens makes
Yes,
a lot of
yes,
sense
it
because
makes
the same
sense, yep.
guy made that happen.
yes,
Right.
yeah. It's all everything ties to the same bad guys. You know what I mean?
I felt like they were just trying to wrap everything up really quickly in a very small amount
And
of
I don't
time.
like that.
I
And
agree with-
I think that Abrams had more planned and
For sure.
supposedly filmed a 5-hour film.
I agree with
or
you.
4 hours.
I
something
can't
like
wait
that.
to see if Disney
director's cut
if
is
Disney
coming.
lets that happen.
Director's cut's coming.
I can't wait to see.
They've already done director's cuts for all the other ones, or not? I'm sorry, not directors, but like extended cuts where they just included all footage.
Yeah,
and
I'm
let the
interested
director
to
cut
see
it.
what that looks like.
Yes,
Because
I can't
I
wait.
think that'll fill
Can't
in
wait.
a lot
That's-
of the things that. Because
Can't
like
wait, man.
everything I had questions about, and keep in mind, I'm like I call myself a casual Star Wars fan.
I am not even close to casual.
I don't
have
do-
blueprints framed in my house.
I
and
don't
shit.
do like the
Not
comic
kidding.
books, the EU, the animated shows, the video games. Like none of that stuff is canon for me because I've never interacted with it. I've seen
It's
seen
too
all
good. It's actually too good.
I've
to
seen
be able
all
to
9
digest it
mainline
all.
films, and every question that I had was answered pretty succinctly by the
Correct.
last movie. But I agree
Yeah,
that
it
the
was so
longer
good.
cut will be very interesting to see
Can't
a little
wait.
bit more exposition about certain things.
If so, talking about that as a casual, I think what is the number one thing off the top of my head that if I said this is a non-casual Star Wars thing that you absolutely must digest?
Is it The Mandalorian?
Yes.
Yeah.
I heard
But
that's really
that-
I've heard only good
But
things.
there's two. There's two that are at the same level. There's The Mandalorian and there's the Clone Wars movie / TV series.
Is that the animated
good
one?
too.
It's incredible. It might be the best animated television show ever made. It's that good.
You're not a Family Guy guy?
it's not Dragon
Oh,
Ball Z.
I mean CG, I
I'm
mean like
kidding.
computer
I'm
generated.
kidding, because
animated,
doesn't
yeah.
everybody hate Family Guy now? Was that not a good joke?
I never
think
liked
everybody-
Family Guy personally, but I mean it's one of the most successful
It's-
cartoons of all
everyone
time.
watches it still. So
Yeah.
I wish
Yeah.
I wish The Simpsons seasons
wasn't
1
for
through
me.
13
Simpsons
would
was
come
more for
back.
me.
I wish
Just
the
bring
good
back
stuff.
seasons 1 through 13.
I have them on DVD, like the first 15, and that's all. I
so
have.
you don't need them to
But
come
that's
back.
a great
You got 'em all.
segue. That's a great segue. The best animated shows, dude, because there's so many different directions you could go with this. Because
Yeah.
there's anime,
mean-
and then you have to talk about Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball
I
Z.
can't even
South
touch
Park
that. I don't know.
has
South
to be
Park
up there.
has to be in the talk. Yep, South Park has to be in the talk. Simpsons, obviously.
I feel like Simpsons and then by
Family Guy, of
extensions,
course.
Family Guy and South Park changed the most
Also-
things for the most people. Is that fair to say?
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would say that if you're going to talk about Simpsons, you have to talk about Matt Groening's other masterpiece, Futurama.
Futurama.
Yeah, Futurama's
Absolutely.
incredible.
Yeah.
It's funny because that show, I feel like I don't know the history of it, and
It's so
I
good.
feel bad. I should.
So
I don't
good.
know if all the writers.
I like it better than Simpsons.
I don't know if all the
personally.
writers jumped ship to Futurama, but like everything in that show hits so much harder. The emotional
Yes.
stuff, like
Yes.
the fucking episode.
It's so well written
with the
man. It's so
dog.
good. But also, that's not to take away from how good Simpsons is.
The first like 15 seasons,
But-
hell yeah.
Simpsons did one specific thing that always resonated with me most of all, and it was that they went super, super, super hard for every Halloween special.
Oh my God, yeah.
And those are
Treehouse
the
of Horror.
mega Treehouse of Horrors are the some of the best animated shit you're ever gonna see. It's so timeless.
So
dude.
I've noticed this with South Park, and then by extensions, like retroactively with The Simpsons. In my opinion,
Yeah.
South Park, like the first 8 or so seasons, they told what I would think of as more like timeless stories. Right?
Correct.
Like it's about the kids doing whatever, and
God, it's so good.
And then all
The
the,
best,
newer
man, the
seasons,
best.
while they're still good, that I don't connect with them as much because like I don't follow
the new
current
seasons
events.
are so good too.
And it's just
they're so good
because like that documentary they had where they turned the show around in 6 days is fucking ludicrous.
Yeah.
and they still that's how they
That,
move.
I know,
That's how they
but
roll.
so they have an answer to like whatever Donald Trump will do or whatever the Kardashians will do. Like that's
They're masters.
That's
I don't know
great,
how they do it.
and they do an incredible job of that. That's just not what I wanted from when I was a kid, like a kid, and I was watching like Cartman Gets an Anal Probe
Correct.
or
Yeah,
like
yeah. It was stuff you
Big
could
Gay
go,
Ale or
you
all
can
that
go
stuff,
back and watch all of it because the current event stuff
Yes.
will pop you because you'll go, oh yeah, back then was when Bush was president or something, right?
Yeah.
So it still hits effective because you lived through the time period.
And it
but
bring-
the timeless stuff is just it always hits
Well,
more.
some of them definitely bring me back, like to
Yes,
the
yes.
Guitar Hero episode.
so it's good for different reasons.
yeah, for sure.
But
And
I
South
noticed,
Park is just
I
so
noticed a lot of
important,
that
man.
with The Simpsons, like because
Yes.
and if you think about
Yes.
it, it makes way more sense with The Simpsons because hand drawn cell animation it has to be more timeless because the turnaround
Correct.
is what like 6 to 9 months for an episode,
Yeah.
something like
they
that.
they can't bank on
It's not like
current events.
next
They can't
week
do
we
that.
have
Yeah.
it, you know.
Yeah.
So like if you're telling a story that, like if you try to tell a timely story, you're taking a gamble.
Correct.
Especially like in today's world, and maybe that's part of the reason that show isn't very big anymore.
I'm not a big hipstery kind of guy. I'm not a big unpopular opinion guy, but I think personally I might actually be a minority on this one. I think the best thing that those dudes have ever done, even over South Park, is Team America. That is my favorite thing
Really?
they've ever done.
I really like Team America.
Team
for
America is one of the most important comedy
Sure. I
films
thought
of all time.
basketball was really good.
Basketball's
Yes.
wicked good.
Fuck
yeah.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
basketball's
He's like
wicked
whipping
good.
the
Dude.
kid
It's so
around in a
fucking funny. But Team America is like so masterfully made. Like
Yeah.
all of the subplots, all the characters, they are the only guys left that can unchained full blast shit on literally anybody however they decide they want to, and they are scot-free.
And it's all just their voices for the
And
most part.
it's so
I know.
important that they get to do that. It's so important because fuck egos, dude. Like any politician or famous actor or something that gets butthurt when South Park shits on them deserves it. Fuck you.
Right.
Because you should see that you're being an asshole.
You should also be happy
And
that
they
somebody's acknowledging
have the
you.
backbone
Yeah,
to
as an
call it
asshole.
out every time, and they do it in the most accurate ways.
And
And it's
they're
a
so-
fake show about a bunch of stupid, dumbass, scummy kids.
It's like they've also been doing it for so long that they're like allowed to get away.
Yeah,
with all of
they're
it, too.
they're it's I don't want to say the term grandfathered.
I mean, they
but
are,
because
though.
like they're
is.
grandfathered, but I think it's more a respect thing. It's that people know they're not fucking bullshitting. That when they shit on somebody for something, you don't get to deny it. Because what they're telling you is so fact. You just have to swallow the pill,
Yeah.
whether you fucking like it or not. And they do it in such a way where it's like, man, how do you argue with that? Like, fuck, they just said some really fucked up shit about
Well,
this thing
usually
that's a
it's-
touchy topic. It's like,
I mean, it's
you
usually-
cannot tell them they're wrong, though.
Yeah, it's usually funny enough to where the people that are getting attacked are okay with it. You know, like a lot of
Depends who
the
the
times,
people are. Depends who the people
a
are.
lot of times the people
But
have been
mostly,
okay
yes.
with it.
Mostly the
Seems
people
like.
are okay with it, yeah. The only times I can think of is when it's obvious people, like Westboro Baptist
Yeah.
Church. Of course, they're never going to agree
Speaking
with
of
anything
that,
negative about
speaking
them.
of Westboro Baptist Church, did you guys see the movie Red State?
It's so good.
No, I've never seen
Oh, man.
Have you ever
never
heard of
heard
it?
of it.
It's
No.
Kevin James making
Kevin
like an
Smith,
act-
not Kevin James.
Kevin James.
That'd be a way
it's
different
like
movie.
Paul Blart Mall Cop. No,
Except he has like AK-47s
No.
and he's in the desert.
It's
was gonna say,
Kevin
I'm in.
Smith. It's,
No, he said.
it's Kevin Smith making a fucking laser paced like action.
It's like action
epic.
horror. It's like a real ass
It's
movie.
crazy, dude. You got to watch it. I'm saying nothing more.
Is it is it on anything right now? Or
I
like-
don't know.
Is
and
it
if
on
it's
Netflix
not,
or Hulu or something?
I
It
don't
might
think
be.
mean,
so.
you can
But if it's
just
not,
Google it and-
just watch it.
Yeah.
Because
You could Google Play it for $3.
if
probably
you're,
in
are you
HD.
familiar
It's
with?
worth it.
Are you familiar with Michael
Super worth
Parks, the actor Michael Parks?
I am.
No.
The man is a fucking national treasure.
You guys talk. I'll look
Did
him
you
up.
see Tusk? The movie Tusk was another Kevin Smith
Nope,
movie.
heard of that, though.
Jesus
Great.
Christ, dude! You
Oh,
gotta
it's
watch
so
all this
fucking
garbage.
funny.
That's
It's
the
so
thing is I
weird.
don't watch too many movies.
What's the
really.
actor's name again?
Michael Parks.
Michael Parks. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know who it is.
The guy is such a fucking
I know
good
who it is.
actor.
Yep, he's good. He's good.
A lot of times I'll be like, oh, I don't know that name at all.
You
and I
will
see his face.
recognize him when you see him older, though, because he like did westerns back in the day.
So like,
But yeah,
I mean,
here's a picture. You'll
Kevin
recognize
Smith
him.
obviously did like Clerks and all that
Yeah.
stuff, but like he's been doing a lot of different weird shit lately, and I think everything he's put out it achieves what it's meant to do. Like it hits.
Yeah.
And Red State, like, holy
Oh my
shit,
God,
him
that
and
movie's
John
so
Goodman in
sick.
it, like
John
just
Goodman's in it. He's phenomenal.
So
John
fucking
Goodman's
good.
Amazing.
Michael
Just about
Parks.
everything. Oh, okay, I know that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been in some stuff. But he was like when he was a boy, he was one of these kind of guys. Isn't that weird to see?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
that's
only
fucking
ever
sick.
seen
You know,
him as an old
you know who
guy.
else? You know who else that looked like that back in the day? Fucking William Shatner.
Oh, of
That
course.
episode of
I feel
Twilight
like-
Zone where he says he's not a whatever child.
If
Also-
you, if you
Remember
pay
that
attention to popular, like that is what everyone looked like back
Correct.
then.
In the 50s, 60s,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
he
That
had
hard
to be a star.
jawline,
Yeah.
clean
But
shaven.
also-
except for Robert Mitchum because
Dark hair.
he had stubble. He was a bad guy.
So I'll say real quick, just to interject. This conversation is going to be a fun one. Like this is going to be a great podcast.
It's
Because,
gone nowhere so far.
Because,
so.
but that's where we need it. That's where we need it because, like, we tend to lean on the music stuff too heavy, in my opinion. And I love to talk about just randomness, right? Because that's what's fun. That's how people talk, right? And the music stuff's cool. Like
talk
we have a
music.
guest next week that's going to be music based, and I'm sure the conversation is going to be mostly music, except for those
And
dudes are
farts.
psychos. So
Yeah.
we're going to talk about farts and spread butts and shit,
of
guaranteed.
course.
And I will go there.
We were driving here today and just found some fucking meme or something. And she hit me with the funniest thing I've heard in like weeks. And it was talking about, it was an article. That's what it was. Cause we went out and saw a friend of ours band play last night. He's
Correct.
I have to pimp this cause he's so good. It's his artist name is The Age Official on Instagram, and he's like a solo singer that has a band sometimes, and he does like neo funk soul singer songwriter like John Mayer, but with like feeling. Like this kid is so incredible.
That's cool.
That's cool as fuck.
So we went out to see him play last night, and met up with a few friends of ours and had a few beers. And Jess has been working on like a diet and trying to get away from beer as opposed to anything else because it's
She's
just
killing, man.
She runs like
My
all the
God,
time,
is she
so
killing.
the beer makes you feel.
She's
heavy
doing
all that
marathons and
stuff.
shit. She's going hard.
Yeah, she signed up for a marathon early next year.
Oh, beer's not
this
great
year.
for you.
She's a
anyway,
savage.
Yeah.
Props to
So-
Jess. That's a side note. Not to interject, but quickly, we're gonna skim over this. All three of us have girls that just are just miles out of our league, and
Oh,
we're
yeah.
just scumbags.
That's great.
Yeah.
And our girls just they just have no business being with us.
Yeah, that's actually
All three of us do. Yeah, I know for a fact that's
I
a fact.
have
Yeah.
no problem
Yeah,
admitting that.
there's just no question. Anywho,
Let's just get that out of the way.
and that's out of the way. Our
so-
girls just have no business being with us.
So we were in the car this morning farting on the way out here and just driving and farting and driving and farting
Yep.
and laughing. And then so we look up an article and it was about why beer makes your fart smell particularly bad as opposed to like anything else or
I
in
mean, but
conjunction.
of course it does.
In conjunction with. And
There's
I
sour
guess,
Liquor
them up
just
a little.
torches your guts.
I guess it has
period.
something to do more with like the yeast in the beer
That
and
makes
interacting
sense.
with the sugars
Of
or
course.
whatever.
Yeah,
There's a lot of coagulation.
So the
going on.
fucking article, whoever wrote this article was hilarious because they referred to your lower ass region, like your lower
As your sphincter
your
or
colon and all
anus?
that shit, like your butthole and all that, as the sin socket.
Sin
heard that.
Socket, bro.
It
That's
wrecked
a
me so
that's a
bad.
guitar profile name right there.
Yeah, it's a new
Sin
name.
Socket. That's hysterical. So this is why I love this conversation because we're in 6 different levels of conversation right now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bounce back to we were talking about Hollywood guys that looked like you're like what the fuck?
Right?
That was like 3 hours ago, dude. What are you
It's,
talking
yeah, we're
about?
fine. The best example ever of
Do you
that.
not podcast, dude? Like what the
Yeah, you've been doing this for
Do you
years,
even
motherfucker.
podcast?
And dude, their format is godly. It's so smooth. You guys,
it's not anything
you
like
guys
this?
have it. You guys have what it takes. It's gonna blow. Like
It's literally
it's a
just
matter of
talk.
time, man. It's
That's
a
the
matter of
format.
time.
Anyway,
But either way,
show him the picture because
yeah.
I've already
so
seen
everybody knows Liam or Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody knows.
it. I know
Leslie
Liam Nielsen too.
Yeah, Leslie Nielsen,
Airplane.
dude. Naked Gun is like some of the best comedies ever made.
Airplane.
Airplane's good.
Airplane's good. Naked Gun 33 and the Third is like one of the funniest movies ever made, though. That's the one that starts with the dream they have, where he's having, where it's him and O.J. Simpson pre-murder trial, by the way, isn't it? And they're chilling at like an embassy or an airport or something. And then like all these dudes with Uzis come down the stairs and they just don't have enough ammo. They can't do anything. And there's like a lady with a baby and the baby goes flying through the air and OJ catches the baby and goes to spike it. And the mom has to run up and be like, no, wait.
Genius.
And it's a dream. And then he wakes up and he pisses himself in bed.
And then retroactively, that
And
joke's
his wife
even
is
darker
like,
than it could have been.
dude, Naked Gun 33 and the Third is one of the funniest movies ever made. Anywho, Leslie Nielsen was in a really, really good, really well written sci-fi film in like the 50s called Forbidden Planet.
Oh, yeah.
And he's the lead in it. And it's like, when you see the picture of him, you're going to go, there's no way. There's no way.
I immediately know I have to see it with whatever this is.
Yeah. You're going to be like, that is Leslie Nielsen. It is 100% Leslie Nielsen. 100%, dude. And you're going to be like, no way. Same exact guy.
Okay, yeah, it looks like
you
everyone
can
else
tell,
from
but
that-
it's like, what the fuck?
It looks a lot like Daniel Craig
This
in
you
that
can
photo.
tell. That you can wicked tell. But yeah, he looks like Daniel Craig.
Okay, yeah, I
Doesn't
can
he?
see it there.
It's because he's a man's man.
But
He's James
that
Bond.
movie is fucking awesome, dude. Forbidden Planet, Hidden Gem, man. I recommend it highly. Hidden
Wait.
Gem.
I'm wicked late to this party. I'm just remembering this. Is the new Batman fucking the sprinkly guy from Twilight?
It is, and I'm excited about
He's
that.
gonna do a great job.
He's gonna kill.
You know what movie I really bad? Like I fucking need to see it or else I'm gonna die.
Lighthouse.
The fucking Lighthouse.
Stace and I watched
need to
it
see
like
that
2
so
nights ago,
hard.
and
Willem
I
Dafoe
fucking
also
fell asleep.
Willem Dafoe is also like a
He's a
spotless
savage.
human being.
Yeah.
So I have a problem where I wake up at like 4:30 for work.
Yeah, that's
and
a
then
problem.
Stace
That is a
works and then Stace works until like 8 or 9 usually. So by the time she's home from work and we try to like watch a movie, there's no way. Man.
It's
I try
expensive.
so hard, but unless I take a nap during the day or drink some coffee or something, it's just so hard.
Mm-hmm.
But she was off Thursday and we watched it Thursday, and I fucking fell asleep like 30 minutes in. I couldn't help it. I was trying so hard. So my impression of the movie is it starts slow.
That's what I.
So get ready.
That's what I expect though, because
But she said it was good.
not sure if you know. You probably know the director for that was the guy who did The Witch,
Which is
the
the good-
Witch,
which to
also
me-
kind of
to
starts
me-
slow, but it fucking so
To me,
good.
It's one of
fuck
the most
Hereditary,
uncomfortable
fuck
movies.
Midsummer, fuck everything.
Yeah.
A24's best film is The Witch, in my opinion.
They've been this studio has been killing it.
A24 is the best shit right now. Yes, there's no question.
Just
but
unbeatable.
But the director and writer and producer
Edgar
Edgar
John
no,
something
it's
Edgar something whatever.
Oh, it's Robert Eggers.
there Robert
Yeah.
Eggers. Yep.
Robert Eggers is the guy that did The Witch.
'cause
and he
Get a
wrote,
different
produced,
name.
direct.
Definitely get a different name.
Wrote, produced, direct. So that's crazy. So he's making the film exactly what he wants it to fucking be. And he did Lighthouse. And I'll tell you right now, it's different.
I
But
expected to
what
be.
I
though.
saw was magnetic. I was like, I can't. I falling asleep was not desired. It's like my body forced it.
Immediately.
It's
like
not
a
because the
natural
movie
energy
was
drink.
bad.
I expected to be.
I was disappointed
Even if
because
like
I fell asleep.
even if the movie itself is like a weak premise or whatever, I expect it to be something I know I'm gonna love.
It doesn't.
No,
it
I
doesn't.
know.
It's
But
incredible.
I expect it to be something I'm gonna love because fucking
Dude.
Willem Dafoe's in it.
10 minutes
and he's
in.
allowed to do whatever the fuck he wants.
10 minutes in, when you realize what the setup is, you're going to go, this is going to get fucked. Mm-hmm. And it's so simple. It's so simple. It's not even a spoiler. It's not even
It's
a spoiler.
two guys in a lighthouse.
It's Willem Dafoe is the guy running a lighthouse in the 1800s.
Probably, yeah.
1800s, right?
He's in one of the hundreds.
1800s. It's a
One of
long
them.
time ago. It's like late 1800s lighthouse, and Willem Dafoe is the guy running it, and Robert Pattinson goes there and is going to be working his shift, which is a 4-week rotation shift. So he's living on that island in the lighthouse with Willem Dafoe for 4 weeks, and he has to do all the manual labor shit.
Seems like a good time.
And I'm not going to say anything else other than storms hit and stuff, and they're just abandoned in it's just those two guys fighting for sanity in a lighthouse
Yeah,
in the
that's
1800s.
sick. A real bad
and
gotta see
it
that.
is I only saw 20-ish minutes, 30 minutes, and already I was like, this movie's
Yeah, that
fucking
already
nasty.
sounds really
So
good.
also Willem
It's
Dafoe.
so good. And people are saying it's like the role of both of their careers.
I believe it. Yeah. So super polarizing, just because of who the director is, and I don't think I like the director. But Antichrist. Speaking of Willem Dafoe, did you see Antichrist?
I never saw the whole thing. I only saw like the first 20 minutes, so I didn't really see much. I
So
heard it was
you-
a fucked up movie.
So you
though.
didn't see
sounds
that
fucked
movie
up.
at all?
No.
Did you
I
ever?
know.
Have you
I
heard
It has
about
to be
this movie at
fucked up.
all?
It's
I've heard
fucked.
of it.
It's
yeah.
fucked.
So
It has to be
basically,
fucked up if
It's
called
like an
that.
infamous movie
because you
it's very
guys aren't
fucked up.
like violently familiar with this movie. It's Lars von Trier,
not even close.
who is super controversial because he was like, there's like question
He
not.
might as well be doing snuff films.
It's not even a question, but there's like a question in the air. Like, is he a Nazi sympathizer? Like, he said
Oh,
some
yeah,
really
yeah,
weird
yeah.
off-color shit in interviews. Like, he's
sure.
on a panel. I think it was like Comic
It's
Con or
weird,
something,
man.
and he's sitting next to
tough to
Uma
hang with that
Thurman,
one.
who's in Nymphomaniac, which is another whole thing that he
It's
did.
a whole mess. Yeah.
And he's sitting next to Uma Thurman, and she's like, ha ha ha. And he's like, yeah, I mean, Hitler wasn't too wrong. And she's like,
Fucking excuse me though.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't think I like him as a person. I don't know him, but
Seems
probably
like a
not.
decent guy,
but
though, overall.
the-
That's a whole different can of worms.
if you're looking
is
for
how
'cause-
shitty a person is based on what their creative skill set is.
yeah, because like, so if you want to go down that rabbit hole, and
No.
this is like a Pat conversation too, and we can retread this ground later and find like the disturbing films. So like Serbian
Oh,
film,
I get what you're saying,
August
yeah.
Underground, Martyrs, Antichrist is on that list for most people. But the
Yeah.
thing with that movie is
What's the Japanese film with all the like? It's just
Audition?
torture. Not Audition, but that's a tough watch.
yeah,
Jake talks about this movie called Bone Tomahawk, and it's apparently
that's a newer
super-
one.
it's
I
a
have to
newer
see
one.
that. It's on my list.
apparently
That's not the
super
one- that's not what I
fucking
was
It's got Kurt
thinking of.
Russell in it.
I was thinking of the one that is very famous because there's
Talk about
a
Old Boy?
scene- No. Old Boy's incredible.
was Korean, I think.
Old
also.
Boy's Korean. It's incredible film.
The
though.
remake wasn't honestly that bad, but,
No,
but having seen the original, I was like, why do you do it? Stop.
No, this movie is like a torture film of like 12-year-old boys being tortured.
120 Days of Sodom?
I'm gonna jump.
Maybe.
But that the 120 Days of Sodom is on the list, no question.
Yes.
The one I'm thinking of, there's a very famous scene in it. Or I don't know if it's very famous, but I remember it being like a noted scene in the film where somebody's torture is they've had their hands up to their elbows put into water, and then they freeze the water around their hands, and their arms just like die, and then they like fucking cut their arms off or some shit. That's just all the film is about.
We're gonna
It's
have
all
to do
that
some
matters.
research because like I've watched
Keep
like
the
all of these.
conversation going.
That's the thing. Like I've
Luckily,
watched.
this is
They made a
like
movie
not
about that?
live,
Like,
and
what
I
the
can
fuck
just
is
look it
going
up.
on?
I've
while
watched
we're
like
talking.
all of these fucking movies, like the like trying to find the most disturbing because humans are fucked up and we want to see gross and
Gone down
weird
this
shit.
rabbit hole 100 times.
You know, so it's
true.
like, so
why people
Antichrist
like,
is on that
Faces
list.
of
Shout
Death
out!
was a
Shout
thing.
out to Jessica Allen, one of my best friends in the world. Our friendship was founded on the fact that all we did was look up terrible, hard to watch, fucked up films. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all we did.
I love it.
That's all we
have
ever
to.
did, dude.
Yeah,
when
you
we hung
supposed-
out, we would just go, we got to watch something that is going to scar us for life bad.
Well-
and that's it.
Yeah, I
So-
never got into that kind of stuff, honestly.
Well, we're gonna
I
drag you
don't
down
know
with us.
why we did. I don't know why, dude.
I don't know.
Early internet shit like fucking.
Well, like I feel like
Something Awful
Saw
and all
like
that shit.
popularized it in a way. Like it got
I
a
would
lot
agree.
of
I
mainstream,
would agree.
viewers into it.
Which is funny because, like, let's be real. The first Saw movie is a good, like, murder mystery thriller
Sure.
with very little super graphic
It got
violence.
stretched out really far. Like it just didn't.
Also,
need to
Carrie
be.
Elway's in that is incredible to me that they got him and Danny Glover to be in that movie when the budget was like $5 and like a pack of gum. Like, how the fuck do you get?
Yeah, well, it depends.
You've got the
That's-
Princess Bride in
that's
the movie. Like, come
Kind
on.
of accurate, yeah.
If it was Juicy Fruit, it would have been alright though. That would've been cool.
As long as it's not fucking zebra stripes, because like by the time the ink dries on the contract to be in the movie, it's lost the fucking flavor already.
So I'm looking up a list of the most fucked up.
Yeah, just hit me with
movies,
the
right?
list, yeah.
There's a ton. There's
But
so many.
Antichrist, there's
I looked up most disturbing
I would say
movies of all
3
time.
very fucked up like body things in it. Two are absolutely
Isn't
fucked
there
up.
like a penis mutilation in it?
I'm sure there is.
Kind of, but they had to get a stunt cock actually.
Well, there's no way I'm
because
gonna
Willem
watch
Dafoe's
that.
dick is too big.
Is that he
If
has
you're
it
so, all right,
hard
so you
to
guys
do
aren't
that.
going to watch the movie because I'm going to
Yes.
spoil it for you.
No,
then.
I'm not gonna watch it. You're
This
telling
is-
me it's on the list of most disturbing films.
This
ever
is
made. I'm
spoilers
good,
for
bro.
Antichrist, made by a potential fucking Hitler sympathizer, super misogynistic, potentially racist guy. There you go. That's what the Lars von Trier is, according to everybody. So it's it's a psychologist or fucking whatever the job is where you say, and how does that make you feel? And
So he's a
his
psychologist
wife,
or
I'm not
therapist.
sure if that's her job as well or not, whatever. The movie opens in black and white and it's all artsy and shit. And it's people
I bet.
just like, and these are like basically rated X movies. Like it's just,
It might as well be. Yeah.
it's people like just raw dog going at it fucking in the shower. And they have like a toddler, and the toddler, it's all artsy and it's set to like classical music. The toddler falls out of a window and dies.
Okay,
So
cool.
that's how the movie starts. And then the wife obviously is grieving, and so is the husband. So what he decides to do, because it's a great idea, is take her to a remote cabin out in a bunch of woods that they have and kind of like work through the grief. And then the implication of the movie, and if I'm wrong with this, that's fine, but I believe the implication of the movie is like nature and women are inherently tied to evil, which is like super fucked up as a theme for a movie, because it's like not true, but basically she becomes like, not possessed, but she becomes like attuned with like this kind of evil energy in the land and stuff, and he starts seeing some freaky shit and all this crazy stuff happens. Like
She learns how to use the force, you know.
basically, like each chapter is punctuated with like a different weird thing. So there's like a fox with like its guts spilling out, and it says chaos reigns to the guy, and like everything's just like wacky. And then eventually, like, she basically loses her mind. So you're trying to, like, say, is it the grief? Is it, like, a supernatural force? Is it just because women are evil and bad? Like, whatever the fucking idea what that is. So she takes, like, a barbell, like a weighted barbell sort of thing, and she, like, drills through his leg and, like, locks it onto his leg. So he would have to drag, like, this 20-pound weight on his leg to go anywhere. And, of course, you're in excruciating pain. And he ends up, like, digging into this foxhole and hiding in there, and all this crazy shit happens. And then she fucking takes him, she ends up chasing him like into this cabin or whatever, and then she like takes that weight that he like saws off or like rips out of his skin or whatever, and she crushes his balls, like fucking
Yeah, that's my
annihilates them.
worst nightmare. I'm never gonna watch that. That's the dumbest shit.
And then she takes out his dick, and it's like the framing is like this, and then it's just like dick. And then she jerks the dick off, and he like comes blood everywhere. But apparently they couldn't have
How did
Willem
he get
Dafoe
off?
in that picture, in that shot, because his dick was too big. So they had to get a stunt cock for that.
Oh, really?
And then at the end, she cuts her clit off with a pair of scissors.
Oh.
It's fucking
Yeah,
horrifying.
hard pass, actually. Who wants to see that?
Yeah.
You sure? You don't want to?
How did he come with his balls smashed?
That's I don't know. I
That's
mean,
what
he's
I'm
passed
That's
out
so
too.
weird.
It's just like, I don't know.
How does he even get
ask
hard?
the racist
So-
Nazi guy. I don't fucking.
This is funny. So while I was looking at this list, just coincidentally,
Are
Jess
those all
texted me.
practical effects, by the way? I don't know if that's...
I hope so.
Um,
Oh, dude, that sounds. They take like a red,
This is
like a
awesome.
food dye, red food dye, and an eyedropper, and they fucking. And they're like, oh my god!
so while
This
I'm
is not
reading
gonna
this,
make
so
it,
while
is it?
I'm reading
Like-
this list, and you guys are talking about this shit,
This is the worst
which is
episode.
We gotta
I
cut all
did
this.
everything in my power to not hear that because it's
all
just
has
It's too late.
I don't want to.
You're gonna listen to it again.
I can't stand the idea of that.
No edits,
But,
no edits.
So while I'm reading this list,
Give me the whole list. Yeah.
So while I'm reading this list, Jess texts me, and I go, "Oh, that's so weird that you texted me because I just messaged you. I just mentioned you on the podcast." And she goes, "Oh, I want it to be known that I scissor your wife."
Okay.
And I just said, "That's correct. Yep."
Well, it's
so
known.
for what it's worth, my wife has sexual relationship with one of my best friends.
that's
and they
totally
scissor,
true.
I guess
Uh-huh.
they scissor. I bet that's true.
a good
I've
deal
also been
overall.
told that that's pretty much not real. So like, okay.
No, I don't think that's a real thing. Okay, so let's get
It just
to
seems
this list.
impractical, you know,
You know what, though? If it was a real thing, that's the way I'd cover it up.
Fuck yeah.
by trying to
Yes.
make people believe
By
it's not.
constantly.
I'd be like, dude, we do it all the time, yeah.
Yeah.
You're a
And
smart
then everyone
guy.
goes, oh, it's just a joke.
Right.
And it's not a
Yeah,
joke.
for sure. It's
All right, give me this
actually
list.
And my wife cheats on me with one of my friends, which is Pete. So
It's not like you're gonna like divorce her. It's just
no,
that's,
I'd
that's
go.
beat.
I mean,
All
I
right.
guess whatever.
All right.
Okay, so this is a weird list. Number 60, Mother with an exclamation.
Did you
mark.
watch it?
Nope.
We're gonna. I'm sorry. We can't just blaze through this. I'm gonna take a little time. That one's weird. I didn't really like it, but I saw what they were going for. It's
Okay.
got what's her tits in it, and the guy from No
What's
Country,
her tits?
No
Very
Country for
nice.
Old Men.
Jennifer
Fucking
Lawrence.
Javier Bardem.
Oh,
He's
really?
such a good actor.
He's incredible.
That movie,
Jennifer Lawrence, I love.
The
as
movie
well.
was
She's
well
great.
acted. It's just like not for me.
Have you ever seen?
Do you know who did it though?
you ever
It's Darren Aronofsky.
Oh,
The
okay.
fucking Requiem
That's-
for a Dream guy. So it's a little bit too far
That's
out
probably
there.
weird. Have you seen Ghost in the Shell?
Neither the anime nor the ScarJo
Oh
movie.
my
no.
God.
I heard that's really good. I don't
The
watch much
anime is
though.
one of the most important animes of all time. It's like Akira level.
I've heard like that and Akira.
Masterpiece.
That's like what I've
Yeah,
heard. And then
Akira
I guess
and Ghost of the Shell are the two most important.
and then I
anime
guess on
films of all
another
time, in my opinion.
level, like any of the fucking Totoro guy. What's his name?
Oh
Studio
my God.
Ghibli stuff.
Studio Ghibli, yeah. That's also
I saw
true,
Totoro.
Yeah.
I didn't see like Kiki's Delivery
Miyazaki.
Service.
I have
or any of that.
Miyazaki.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just
absolutely.
I don't watch much of anything, to be honest with you.
Well,
man.
you're gonna
Yeah.
sit through this and you're gonna be quiet like you have been the whole rest of the fucking podcast.
No,
Yeah, I'm
dude,
cool
you should
with that.
watch some shit.
But like,
There's so much good out there.
I don't know. I
If
feel
you're
like if I'm
busy,
gonna
then
commit
stay
the
busy.
time, I'm
Stay
just
busy.
gonna do something interactive, like play a game or
Yeah,
something.
nothing wrong with
Just
that.
put on all this really disturbing, fucked up
yeah,
shit
I'm
while
not
you're
gonna
editing
read
your
through all 60
podcast.
of these. That's the dumbest shit in the world.
Just give me like the top 20.
I'm looking for the top 10 even.
See, but when I'm editing my podcast,
Petrolborn
which I don't really
Killers,
edit
No,
much
don't
of
pay
it,
attention. Just fucking cut it. It's
I
fine.
usually
Clockwork
just
Orange is on here, of course.
I listen to other podcasts. when
Human
I do that
Centipede.
shit.
Well, instead of that, listen to people get gutted alive and shit. It's more better.
I don't know.
More better.
I
Wow.
don't
Oh,
know.
dude, 7 is on here.
Oh, that's a good
Seven's a good one. But
one. David
what?
Fincher, I really enjoy.
I Spit on Your Grave. Kiss my ass.
Yeah. It's just because it's got like the R word in it. That's
Gummo.
why. Like
you can't
people
have
don't like
that.
Gummo is fucked.
I've heard of like most of these. Honestly, I don't watch horror movies though.
Well,
The
that's the
Bunny
problem.
Game. Funny Games is good.
Bunny Game was dumb
Funny.
as
Ga-
fuck.
I don't want to say Funny Games is good, but it's a landmark film, and the
Which
remake
one?
is like
Yeah,
shot
yeah.
for shot.
Yeah. It's the same guy.
Yeah, it is. The same guy made the remake.
I
Michael
like the
Haneke.
remake better for me just because Tim Roth's in it.
Yeah,
There's a
and,
remake
and
of
he's not
everything now,
screaming,
though.
There
oh,
is, yeah.
fuck, like in Reservoir Dogs the whole time.
You know who usually fucks up remakes?
Everyone?
But they're
Michael
really
Bay?
well. Okay, yeah, everybody. But a remake of a horror film that's a legendary film, because that's what we're talking about.
Oh, you
right?
mean the Nightmare remake that was Psycho with Vince Vaughn?
No,
that
no,
was
no,
fucking
no.
terrible?
That's just called Psycho. What are you talking about with Vince Vaughn?
Are you kidding me right now?
Psycho remake with Vince
The
Vaughn.
remake,
called
yeah,
Psycho.
was terrible compared to the original. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, you're saying the Nightmare?
I'm saying
like it's
it was
shitty.
I'm saying it was a nightmare
I
of
think
a
you-
remake
I think
because
you
there was
called it
it was
Nightmare. I was like, what are you
completely
talking about?
unnecessary because it was
Yeah,
fucking,
fuck that movie. No, the original's actually Hitchcock.
Yeah.
So fuck yourself.
Yeah.
It didn't need to be remade. It's fucking.
That's-
It was already Hitchcock.
Yeah, but most movies don't need to be remade. I feel like.
I disagree with that. I think there's good examples. We'll get to that in a minute. But
So who's the one that you were going to say is
what I was gonna say, my favorite example of an actual good remake is The Grudge. The Japanese Grudge is one of the most important horror movies of all time.
The original
but the
remake with
American
what's her tits in it,
remake
or the new
is
American
really
remake?
Good. No,
It was the
no,
same
no, no,
director
no.
again, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But who was it? Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yes.
Yeah, she's incredible. So how do you miss with that? But
I have like a secret love for the super cheese, like I Know What You Did Last Summer, kind of garbage, just throwaway movies.
Oh, yeah.
I think one of the best TV shows of all time is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So she'll always be Buffy to me.
We're gonna have to have Jess talk about that with you
Yeah.
sometime because she loves that shit.
We got to have her and Stace on the podcast sometime.
We called that
they
the
can just-
broadcast.
so I can
Take it
get
over.
divorced
Yeah,
on
we're
the
just
air.
gonna take it over.
Yeah. So my wife can go.
'Cause it's women.
I've been waiting for this moment for so long.
Bye.
I'm filing for divorce.
This is my podcast.
All right, give me
Yeah,
just
yeah.
give me the top 20
Okay,
or top
yeah,
10,
yeah.
something.
Anywho, yeah, the Grudge remake, the American one with Sarah Michelle
That
Gellar
one
is
actually,
really good.
that
It's actually
movie
good.
actually fucked me up when I was younger because I just like I didn't understand the
Dude, it's still-
Japanese. The Japanese horror is so cold.
There is a movie.
and subtle, and it just I can't.
Stace and I, they're very good at horror.
They
do
are.
a whole different thing, and
It hits you at
works
like a
every
spiritual
time, man.
level. It fucks you up.
Stace and I watched the new Japanese movie that's The Ring meets The Grudge, and it was fucking nasty.
Yeah.
Watch it. It was nasty. It was actually
Those ones
good.
fuck me up.
It was actually
they just
good.
Mixed the two movies.
No, there were some scenes in that. There were some scenes in that of the Grudge, people getting like a bunch of people getting killed in the Grudge house that made our jaws hit the floor. We were like, this is modern level shit. This is sick.
It's The Grudge.
It was so good.
The
dude.
Grudge and The Ring, believe it or not, like originally when I was younger, maybe I was more susceptible to it, or like 'cause
Maybe.
I break stuff down. Like I do. I've talked about it with music on this podcast before. Like I break things down, I put it in boxes. It makes sense to me. I do the same thing with movies and filmmaking. So that's why Hereditary popped me so hard, is because there's stuff in there that is not the norm for what you would think like a genre film would be. And you get those moments where it's not like a jump scare because I fucking hate jump scare movies.
Me too.
Same. They're so cheap.
What they do
It's
is
such a cheap pop.
they set it up in a place where they hit you, and then you see you like it's in the frame. Like there's a thing in the
Yes.
frame, and then when you notice it,
Yeah.
there's no
Well-
attention drawn to it. There's no focus pull. You notice it, and then you get that cold shiver,
Yes.
and you're like,
well,
"Fuck
that's
me."
the reason I liked The Witch so much was because they didn't
so
show
good.
anything.
Exactly.
Like there was maybe 2 scenes in the whole movie where
You would
see
probably really
anything.
like Hereditary then.
That's the thing. I never got big into horror movies just because I felt like a lot of them were very, played out. They were very
I
similar.
get you.
Which is true because I am a diehard horror movie fan.
Yeah, I know a
obviously,
lot of people
but
are.
I love like all the garbage
my
ones too,
God.
like The Stuff and Toxic Avenger, and then like all the Halloween sequels that were trash, like the one with
There-
Busta Rhymes.
So I
in
got
it.
to the top 10.
Okay, we got.
And there's a movie in
If
here
Rosemary's
that's
Baby's in
noteworthy.
here, I'm gonna fucking lose
No,
my mind.
but there is one movie that when I get to it, I'll talk about it for a minute.
Yeah.
To this day,
Is it Angels in the
it's-
Outfield?
yeah, it's the hardest.
No,
to
it's
watch.
a League of Their Own.
It's the hardest to watch film I've ever watched, and I've
So it is
seen
Angels in
some
the Outfield.
dirty garbage, and this is still the hardest. So number 10 is Irreversible.
I really bad want to see it. Do you know what it's about?
No, but there's a synopsis.
It's a bad time for a lady that happens in reverse. So you get like this.
Yes.
The idea
That's
is
the
that
one
you
with
get
the
like
famous
This,
rape scene.
yeah,
right?
you get like this real bad dread because you know
Yeah.
what's gonna happen.
Well, there's
Yeah.
there's a lot of famous rape scenes. you
Well,
know?
that's
I
like
mean,
it's
what
a
is it?
Clockwork
Last
Orange.
House on the Left.
yes.
Clockwork Orange,
and
yeah.
I spit on
Clockwork
your grave. Yeah.
Orange.
Well,
I
this
Spit
was
on Your Grave, yep.
this is a French film. Irreversible is, and it's supposed to be like French always do artsy films. Like they did High Tension, which was
Fucked.
it had like
Was
the
it High
weirdest
Tension?
twist.
That's a good movie, though.
Yeah,
It is a good movie.
It just
but
had
it's
the
a weird
it had the
one.
most inappropriate
High Tension,
twist
yeah.
for me. I didn't get it. But they also did Martyrs. French people do some crazy shit.
Another Darren Aronofsky film that we mentioned earlier. Number
Requiem.
9 is Requiem. Yep.
Yeah, that's a tough
Is
one.
this going in order from?
Probably like
10
the
to
most
1.
fucked up.
Yeah,
Okay.
1 is going to be number 1. 8 is Aftermath,
Oh,
which I've
heard
never heard
about
of.
it.
It's a Spanish film.
Yeah.
Dialogue-free showcase of pointless immortality or
Okay.
immorality,
Way too long.
albeit
for
of
sure.
the well-shot and hypnotically contemplatable kind.
Are you? Is he listing off movies still? Or
He's
is it-
Yes.
reading the synopsis.
Number
for it.
7, In a Glass Cage.
I've never heard of that one.
All right.
Never
Dead
heard of
air.
it. Yep. Number 6, the most fucked up movie I've ever watched to this day.
Uh-huh.
Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That is a tough watch.
That's good.
Well,
And it's Michael Rooker.
Mm-hmm.
He's great.
I just watched that Aaron Hernandez thing on Netflix.
Oh, what?
I have
haven't
to,
seen
yeah.
it yet,
It's
dude. I hear
wild.
it's fucked.
Yeah. There's
I
a
also
lot of
watched the
crazy
one that
shit.
Brad told us to watch, that Don't Fuck with Cats one.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't wait to see that.
That's wacky.
It's out there, yeah. But yeah, Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer is one of the toughest to watch movies I've ever watched. It's just so
and you
fucked.
haven't seen the other ones.
there is a scene in Henry that is like, so it's like Henry's a serial murderer and he
Good for
has a
him.
roommate, and his roommate's like niece moves in with them and doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And moves in with them. I don't even know if when she moves in they're even necessarily serial murderers yet. But they begin a killing spree.
They're figuring it out.
They're figuring it out. They're starting to kill people.
They're getting the hang of it.
And there's a scene in that movie where the roommate whose niece moves in, he's a scum. He's worse of a scumbag than Henry is. He's fucked up like pervert. He's like trying to fuck his niece and shit.
Okay.
But there's a scene in the movie where Henry and that guy commit a double murder and they fucking like graphic brutal rape the girl, and they film it with an old VHS camcorder because it takes place in like 1990, right? And the way it's portrayed in the film is the film just cuts to the VHS tape. And while the scene is playing out of you're watching the taped VHS footage of, so instead of being like a Hollywood shot, it's just a one stationary set down VHS camcorder of a fucking double murder rape happening that they commit.
Yikes.
And it slowly zooms out and you realize it's being watched on a TV because that guy is just like watching it back, being like,
Just
fuck
jacking
yeah.
off. Yeah.
Just watching. And then his niece comes home and he turns it off or whatever. It's a nightmare, dude. It's so
Jesus.
bad. It's so bad.
I think it's
That
fascinating.
movie is so fucked up, and I'm pretty sure it's about Henry Lee Lucas, an actual serial murderer.
Yeah, you for
which
sure
which
just
may or
talked
may
me
not
out
be
of
true
it.
based on the Netflix thing I just watched.
Hard to say. Hard to say. Yeah.
I believe that he's just a crazy person, like just a little bit not there.
Yeah.
But I mean, whatever.
Well,
Anywho,
there's definitely
number
a lot of
5 is Audition.
Of course.
Audition's just a fucking nightmare. I don't even want to talk about it.
What is it?
Audition.
No, number 4.
Oh, number
Sorry,
4
I
is
saw you.
Pink Flamingos. I haven't heard of this one.
Oh, it's John Waters. It had
It is.
Divine Brown. They ate actual shit. It was a weird one.
Oh, yeah,
It's
get
just
out of
it's
my
more
face with
weird
that.
and
I don't wanna watch
unsettling than
people
it is
eat
like
shit.
scary. It's not even like a
Yeah.
fucking horror movie.
Number 3, shockingly, big shocker, Cannibal Holocaust, of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
I feel like that's
It's so legendary, it just has to be included.
it's
You
only
know what I
because
mean?
the people that filmed it were such fucking scumbags. Like,
Correct, yeah. And they legit went to prison for like 10 years for animal cruelty because like right before they made the film,
all that
laws
shit on
changed.
all that shit is real.
And
though.
then they killed a bunch of pigs and turtles. They killed a turtle, and
The
it's
snake,
legit, 100%
yeah.
them killing a turtle
for
on
them.
camera. And they use it in the film. It's like whatever. Like I don't like seeing that shit. It's
Yeah.
graphic. It's gross.
Definitely.
It's whatever. I don't
kill
care to
turtles.
see it.
well, the funniest
But
part,
they went to prison for that
the
shit.
funniest part about that movie though is that like for the time obviously super shocking and the real animals and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that, but
Yeah.
it's not even like anywhere near as graphic because like it's all basically told in flashback. So the whole movie itself is like. Yeah, it is, but it's not. There's so many more things that are more like violent and visceral than I could think of
Yeah.
in that movie.
Yeah. For example,
Cannibal Corpse?
No, so number 2 is Necromantic.
Oh, okay, whatever.
Not familiar with that one. I've heard of it obviously, but I've never seen it.
Chick fucks a corpse.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then number 1, nobody was ever questioning, is Salo or 120 Days of Sodom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for just every reason you can possibly think
sure
of,
not
it's just the
watching any of
worst,
those.
man.
Yeah,
It's just the
That's
worst.
real bad. They're just like, hey kids, you want to have a fun time?
Yeah.
Well, don't be alive here. It's like that's how that whole movie goes.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's unwatchable bad. Not bad like quality.
I wonder where
Bad,
Serbian
like,
film is on
through-
there.
Impossible
Yeah,
to sit
yeah.
through. Yeah. Serbian film was in the top 20.
Yeah, probably.
It was
August,
like I think it was number 15.
I would
or
think like
something.
August Underground. You know, like
There was
all
some
that
there was some fucked shit on there.
classic fucked up shit, dude. Like it's like classic internet shit, like Tub Girl.
You
and all
know,
that.
I gotta say this though. Fuck
is-
all those movies because I don't give a fuck about
Two Girls,
graphic
One
imagery. The movies that have really stayed with me over the years are the ones where they're not even that graphic, but the storytelling writing
Yeah,
is stuff that the weight of it is so traumatizing.
Yeah.
You know, like God, dude, even like Lion King. Like when you're a little kid and you watch Lion King and he loses his dad, it's like, why are you doing this?
yeah.
Definitely.
What do
don't
you
that
get
to
out of
kids.
doing this? And they get
Disney
a lot
are a
of
bunch
weight.
of fucking sociopaths. That's
Dude,
why.
yeah,
Yeah.
Disney has some tough
Jesus
ones, dude.
Christ.
Land Before Time.
Oh
you
my
know?
God. Yeah.
They
It's
got to
got
just
some
stop killing parents.
tough
It's a bad
ones.
time.
Well, that's their like go-to. You know, they're
His
like,
parents
let's
die.
kill parents.
We don't have a story,
How
but we
about-
have
let's
anthropomorphic
talk
animals.
about-
Let's just off one of them and see
Let's
what
talk
happens.
about the fucking beginning of Up, dude.
Oh no!
What the
Oh,
fuck,
yeah,
dude?
That's
You're
heartbreaking.
dying.
That's a nightmare.
It's even worse because we're a
That's
bunch
my
of
biggest fear.
we're a
in
bunch
life,
of lumpy
and it's an
guys.
unavoidable reality.
We're a bunch of
I
lumpy
have to
guys, so
lose
we're
my
like,
wife
I'm gonna
someday.
be that guy. I'm gonna be the lumpy guy.
Yeah.
It always makes me
And
think
Stace
of,
is a type 1 diabetic,
It's
so
Always
the
Sunny in
probability that I
Philadelphia.
outlive her is high.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that is my biggest
like that. That's too
fear in
real.
life. My biggest fear in,
Yeah.
in life is the day where I have to lose Stace. And that's super real and dark. And Up goes, you like thinking about that? You don't? Suck dick.
Here it is animated.
Here you go,
with
brother.
balloons.
Yeah. Exactly. So fuck you, Pixar.
I mean,
Kiss
the
my
balloons were
ass.
nice.
The
Though.
balloons were
Toy
cool,
Story's
you know?
fucking hard though.
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
is.
see
So you're
anything
good.
past the first one.
The first one's the best animated film of all time, and
Yeah.
that's not even debatable.
Man, they
to
try
me.
to get you, man. They try to scar the kids.
You're not talking about Felix the cat because that was
Toy Story is the most important animated film ever made.
I would.
How do you
say-
argue that?
Yeah.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's it's the ground
It just
that
broke so
that
much ground.
Pixar was founded on.
Yeah.
And it just broke every barrier for that,
Right.
for what's possible with that. There was great stuff before,
had
but
some
are
weird
you
stuff,
kidding
too.
me?
yeah, like you saw Indian in the Cupboard, right? Great stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great film.
I was
You know
gonna, dude. The only full animated anything I can think of pre Toy Story is fucking Reboot,
Like
which
C-
is
like
incredible.
CG, you mean?
Yeah, full CG animated. Yeah,
It was weird. Disney had some weird shit, like Hunchback of Notre Dame was like
wicked good
had like
movie, though.
religious tones to it. and
Well,
it was
I mean,
very very good. Though.
That's a weird one
Pocahontas
for
is
them to
great.
animate because that's what
Mulan
that
is
story
great.
is. Like that's what
Right.
that was about.
It just is what it is.
It's just
like,
a little
yeah.
out
You
of
also can't
place.
even refer to Esmeralda anymore because that's a racial slur now.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh, that's sick.
it's the Romany people.
Gotta start using
K
that.
K.
We live in a woke world. It's 2020. God damn it!
I know, man.
Now I don't want to talk about Between the Buried and Me because
Oh, you should,
we
though.
will glaze this table probably.
Let's
us
do
two,
it.
at least.
We can talk about Between the Buried and Me.
No,
Go ahead. Yeah, I
It's
love
good.
talking
What it
about
is
Between the
it's
Buried
me
and
and
Me
you
because I'm
because
not a
Dave
big
doesn't
fan.
really like him that
I'm
much.
not a big fan. Yeah.
See, that's the thing. I wasn't either.
Talk to me, Daddy. What do you got?
I have ridiculous amount of respect for him.
I see. I didn't like him very much either when I started listening
What's
to him.
wrong with you people?
I remember buying Parallax 2, and I was playing Grand Theft Auto 5 all the time.
Well, that's all it takes.
right around the time.
If you're playing a game
was like-
that is like 1,000-hour game and you find a brand new album and you
Just
listen to
put
that
it
the
on
whole
repeat.
time, that's gonna make that album.
You know what
matter
that
a
was
lot.
for me? That was Final Fantasy VII with a silver boombox made out of plastic, just burning a hole in Californication. That CD
Wicked good
got
album.
ruined
Oh, yeah.
Wicked good
playing
album.
Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway,
But I remember putting it on repeat and only listening to that record.
fuck yeah.
Which
And I
one?
was like Parallax 2.
Parallax.
Parallax
2, man.
1, by the way, was fucking baller. And
Yes.
a lot of people forget about it.
That's
It's
one
a
of the
3-song
scariest.
EP.
To me, that's the scariest drum
thing
thing of all time.
Yeah.
Scariest drum thing of all. Not because the performance per se, but because Blake recorded a one-shot video of him playing that entire EP in
Yeah.
one straight shot with no mistakes.
Well,
and there
some of
is
those-
actually no mistakes and no cuts.
They're literally incredible.
It's not
Everybody
possible.
in that band
It's
is
not.
inhuman.
I'm a working drummer. It's not possible.
I know
to
some
do
of
that.
those themes come back in the second
Yes.
in Parallax 2 as
Yeah.
well.
Yes, that's because they're good songwriters.
But
Yeah, they're
once
insane.
I remember reading the Parallax 2 booklet that came with it. Tommy has like sort of commentary and talks about the story and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that story goes all the way back to fucking Swim to the Moon.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, wait a minute. He's been planning like all of this for like 3-4 albums.
I love that shit.
like,
only-
actually,
the
no, it
only
goes back
reason-
to Colors. Because there was a song, there's a couple songs in Colors that had featured the main character from Parallax 2. From what I've read, at least.
Really? That's
But like
The
it's
thing for me,
absolutely insane.
the only complaint I ever have
So
with those
nuts.
guys is I just personally don't prefer their style of songwriting because it's so non-linear.
Yeah.
The reoccurring theme stuff I love,
Mm-hmm.
and their lyrical content is incredible, and like they're playing, they're some of the best, man. They're so good. Blake Richardson is one of my favorite drummers right now.
Yeah.
He's so good.
I think for me, it was like the
It's just
first
so
time I
weird.
heard all of the genres that I really enjoy really fused the way that I wanted them to be.
It's so
Sure,
funny
that's a
because
good example.
when I was younger, I mean, Colors is still obviously, but I really liked Alaska when I was younger, and
Mm-hmm.
now I'm like a mellow old dad, and I like all the deathier stuff. Like, I mean, I love Opeth too, so like I still
Sure.
respect all the heavier shit, but like I'm just like, you know, man, let's just mellow the fuck
I've
out.
listened-
That's exactly the same reason why Symphony X is my favorite band
And
of all
Parallax
time.
2 was
Yeah,
perfect
yeah.
for that
Is
because there was
they
nothing that
meld
was
everything I look for.
over the top death metal.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Parallax 2 was hard all the way through.
Yep. But it's the same. It's the exact same reason. It's all the genres I grew up loving because I have weird genre taste. I grew up being obsessed with video game music.
Yeah.
I grew up being obsessed with old movie scores, like Jerry Goldsmith's stuff for Kuroko back in the 80s and early 90s, like Total Recall and Rambo and shit.
Some of those tones were so cool though. Like
Yep.
the,
The
synth
best
patches and
synth
shit.
tones of all time are from the 80s.
That's the thing
film
is like
scoring.
I
There's no question.
listen to everything. So
Yeah.
like I want to hear all that shit.
And they do
fused.
everything.
Right.
And Between
you-
the Buried and Me does everything.
Did you listen to
Whereas
Dan's
for me-
stuff, Nightmare Scenario?
No, I don't think so.
Dan has solo stuff called Nightmare Scenario, and
I
it's,
heard he does.
It's like
yeah.
super moody, like synth dripping, like atmospheric. It's fucking cool. You'd probably dig it too, Dave.
Probably would, yeah.
But I mean that to me was always the songwriting. Like I felt like you had to be able to blend all of your influences to make it work. you
Yeah.
know? That's how I always looked at it.
And the only reason that I don't gel with those guys is because I just prefer a more digestible songwriting
Yeah.
style. That's it. That's all. It's
See, I
all
just-
it really boils down to.
I think I'm just irritated with the way metal's going. It's all sounding very similar to me now.
Well, the gent.
You gotta be
thing is
careful
kinda
with
the
being
periphery
really
sort
big.
of thing, like all sort of started moving that way.
See,
I'm
that's
so careful
such
to,
a weird
to use
thing,
it
though.
because it's an important tool. It's a good sound. It is a good sound.
I like the way it sounds.
But it's a tool in the toolbox, and when it's your only tool, you end up with bands that are, you know.
A perfect example for that for me, based on the one record that I've spun a few times, was Viljarta.
That's a good example.
It's
It's
cool,
not that they're bad. It's not that they're bad.
but they do like a few things, and they do it all the time, and
it
it's
seems
just
one-dimensional to me.
That's how it seems, and I know it's really not, but it's just I'm like I think I'm just a snob. Like I want a little bit more, and I think that's why BT Bam's like in my top 2 favorite of all time, just because like. They cover every piece of ground, and they can be slow. They can be fast. They can do whatever they want.
The argument against that,
but you also have to memorize those songs note for note to enjoy them.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's a thing because like we talk about songwriting before on here, and we'll never not talk about it. But like recurring themes within a song, if you bring it back 6 minutes later,
I need to be a master of
if
that.
you need to bring it back 6 minutes later, and everything between it, like what BT Bam does is an excursion here, a linear thing here, something else here, a different riff, a fucking horse neighing, crazy part, like, you know, whatever. Like shit that I think is interesting. And then they come back into that riff and
it only matters if it builds properly. That's it. It doesn't matter if there's a traditional song structure or a non-traditional like they would do versus like my example of Symphony X. Symphony X goes for the traditional song structure, but they're achieving the same thing. They're doing reoccurring themes over a period of time.
But
and they're building emotion. They're building the tune.
I would say
that's good songwriting.
The quote average listener is trained to listen to music a certain way.
Yeah.
I agree.
Think about somebody who has grown up on like whatever pop music is out.
It's so hard to get them to acknowledge anything else.
Like pop country.
They just can't understand
classic rock. Like
it's not their fault.
Even if you just like you're a person and you just turn on a radio or somebody has a radio on, like your dad listens to classic rock and you listen to some pop, you listen to some hip hop. Like a lot of that stuff is formulaic and it works, and that's why it is formulaic. So you're used to listening to a song that's like no more than 5 minutes long. It starts here, it does this, it goes back.
It's what I always talk about as like generically digestible,
which is not
I like
a bad
digestible
thing.
writing. I prefer it.
Even generically digestible.
I think it can be. I agree. It's not.
I do like that,
it's
and
important.
I think between the Buried in Me, they'll throw a chorus in, and you're like, that chorus was really fucking cool. I kind of wish they'd do it again. They don't. And I kind of like that too, because they're kind of teasing you, going, "Hey, like this is a really catchy fucking hook."
Yes.
And then,
but I think
we're never doing it again.
Here's something way more pressing that's immediate to talk about right now, though. Something we didn't acknowledge once in this whole podcast is a really cool reason why you are a good guest to be on our podcast. We lean towards music stuff because we're a band, so we talk about a lot of music stuff. You've been in bands that have played a lot of shows. You've written songs. You're a guitar player. You've been playing guitar for a long time. That might not get talked about a lot. It might not get talked about a lot on Clear Shots. But that's just a little known thing that like we just happen to know, as you're a lifelong musician who's actually taken it to the stage.
Yeah, and it's funny because like when you go back and listen to like our old shit like Wormwood or something, you're like, oh, all we listened to was Opeth.
Correct.
It's pretty fucking clear.
It's pretty obvious.
And
John,
then
John,
primarily.
rest in peace, man. Yeah. But yeah, John.
And then with Ethernauts, it was like different. We were just kind of putting like all these weird influences in.
Ethernauts was the good shit, man. That stuff is so good.
I remember when people asked like, "Oh, what do you guys sound like?" And I'm like,
something.
We sound like us,
maybe?
and that's
I don't know.
huge.
Yeah, like I couldn't really put a finger on it, and that's what I always look for in bands is sounding very unique. My favorite bands
that's a group I really hope someday finds a way to do more music.
Yeah,
like you and Wes specifically.
Yeah, we talked actually about finishing the album because most of it is done, the full length, and it's
even if it's whatever you call it, whatever you do with it, you are a good songwriter and a good player. And you have the right experience and the right knowledge to be able to do good shit.
We all have gear just to go out and play. It's like I never use it.
And Wes who do I have is a great producer and a great songwriter, and he's a very good. I love working with him.
Who do I have to take on in a fist fight to get that record finished and the the fucking Perpetual Burn album finished and the Cosmic Sea album released? Like who do I have to fight?
Yeah, we have two members that live in Rochester, so
yeah, it's not that simple.
I don't give a shit. Make it happen.
Logistically,
we got Dropbox. Let's go.
I got my hair cut by Joe a couple days ago, and I was like, dude, we should do one song. Let's just do one song.
Yeah, the Saga, one song.
Just yeah, let's do the 16-minute one that I can't play anymore.
Yeah, I really liked like Necrosis, Old Perpetual Burn, and all that kind of stuff.
Pre-name switch, yeah.
I really liked it. I thought Joe's voice was very unique. He had a very specific sound to it.
Joe's voice, when Joe's screams
Yeah.
on the newer Burn stuff is my favorite screams anybody's ever done ever. They're so good.
Yeah.
And it was just all technique. He could do it all day. He could hold notes for 12 years doing
But
that
that's
shit.
it
He's
checks
so
the box
good.
for me. It's like I always liked bands that sound that you can recognize immediately. System of
Yeah.
a Down.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
So System of a Down so
Fuck
good,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, Lamb of God
I
does
feel
it.
bad because if we see System of a Down now, it's not even close to the same thing.
I know.
I
And
can
that's a
only
weird
imagine.
thing. That's an intangible that's tough to put a
And
finger
I never got
on.
to see
Well,
him
you
before.
missed
It's tough
yeah,
to
that's the thing.
produce.
You
Because you're
don't-
just writing what you want to write.
Yes.
Most good bands, most great bands are just writing music they want to hear that they're not hearing somewhere
exactly.
else.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Right for
So,
yourself.
For me, the early days of Burn, we didn't know what the fuck we were doing.
Right.
But it was just what we wanted to hear, and we weren't hearing it from our favorite bands.
Yeah.
And it just kind of dictated what we were doing at the time. And for some reason, that stuff like resonated with young kids in the town at the time. I don't know why. I'll never be able to put a finger on
Well,
that.
I think it was primarily just
I'm
the
so
fact that
thankful for
it's
it,
primarily
though.
the fact that you were doing it.
Yeah.
I don't think
There wasn't
was,
really anybody doing it at
Yes,
the time.
and then I think after that, that's when people started to have the drive to want to start, performing and starting to form
Word.
bands.
Yeah.
I don't think people weren't really doing that before, at least in metal bands.
Not around here.
You know,
You know?
that's what I mean. I think you
Yeah.
guys were sort of a catalyst for that.
I gotta say, it's,
And for me, I have like not only do I not hold any ego in that, I'm
Mm-hmm.
so thankful to have been a part of that, to have been able to contribute in some way to seeing so many people I care about find their passion in music and actually have the guts to take it to the stage.
Yeah. I would say
That's so cool,
I would
man.
say we're thankful as well, though.
Yeah,
because
I
we
guess.
wanted to go to those shows. We had a blast at those shows, and even going just hanging out afterwards or before.
That's how I met all you guys, dude. The
Right,
reason you and I are friends to this day is because my old band Perpetual Burn, when we first started, we were just playing like Lamb of God, Opeth style, Nevermore shit, right? And it just wasn't a thing around here. And I met so many people that are so important to me because they were kids that followed us
Yeah.
when we were just all so dumb kids.
Well, there was no metal scene here.
No, there was nothing.
So
There
I
was
gotta-
it was
hardcore
hardcore
scene.
and it was garbage.
I gotta say, like that's what Albany is right now, in my opinion. And I mean, the hardcore, the people in those bands, the bands themselves are good for that genre. It's just nothing
It doesn't
I'm
matter,
super
though, yeah.
interested in. But I'm sure everybody who plays music feels the same way about where they live. It's not an isolated incident.
Oh, I'm sure there's
Right.
those bands.
There
of
is-
course.
well,
there's
no,
the
no, no,
guys
no.
That kind of.
Well, what I'm getting at is I feel like visibility wise, there's no one left.
No.
Everybody
No.
is just disappearing off the radar. Friends of ours, they're just like,
But
Well,
that's
you-
life.
you
man.
get-
People,
yeah, you get stuck
old
in
and
a
you
job
realize, oh,
and-
that's not going to happen.
I'm just wondering
And also,
when you
here's
see
an
the
anomaly.
next group come. Because I feel like for the
I'm
last
interested, dude.
the
That's
last
a wicked
few
good
years,
question. That's a
the last few years, all of our friends and family and whoever have just dropped off and stuff. And
and for reasons that
legitimate or not,
are-
it doesn't matter.
are
But
worth bringing up because the point I was trying to make is that as I've gotten older, I've realized it's not even a negative how much I don't want the same things I wanted when I was an 18-year-old.
I think that's growth.
Like it's growth as a human being. Like my wife is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Fuck music. Music is my career. Music is a passion of mine. It's changed and shaped who I am. It's shaped 100 different fucking
But it's number 2 on the
relationships that matter to me,
Yeah.
and nothing goes near how much my wife matters.
Well,
to
you know
me.
what it is too. It's a term
You know?
that my buddy Zach, who was on the last podcast,
Yeah, he was a guest in the last one. Yep.
he has this term. Him and Pat are strangely they connect so well because they're such kind of different
Psychos.
people, but they are
Psychos.
not. They're similar.
I
So-
call it a psycho. Yeah.
yeah, not wrong. We got to get them all back on.
Oh my god, we gotta get Pat and Zach on,
Self-advocacy.
and then we'll just shut our mouths.
The
and
term
let them
is
just go.
self-advocacy. So
Yes.
the idea is that you think you know what you want when you get into something, and
Correct.
then that's what you want, and then things change
Yes.
for whatever
Life
reason.
changes. You grow up.
And there's a point where you have to realize what's happening
And
one
what
way or the
matters
other,
most.
and then you have to advocate for yourself, or by extension, do other people a favor by declaring like this is the situation now.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's
And,
not easy.
You know, like, let's just be honest about this right now.
Yeah.
Anabasis as a band nothing's changing. But we're just kind of
We're taking a break.
we're kind of just definitely dedicated to not really playing live shows right now. It's
we're just
it's just
chilling.
not really feasible. A lot of people have a lot of stuff going on in their lives.
We have ideas for the future of the band.
Absolutely.
Like we have stuff we want to do.
And-
Like we want to do another album.
And I mean,
for
this
sure.
stuff doesn't stop,
But
podcasts
we're,
and all that. But
we're not going anywhere.
Right.
We're not going anywhere. And we would go somewhere if we didn't take the time to recenter our actual personal lives.
yeah.
That's so important,
So
you know?
I mean, we've all kind of collectively decided that enough is enough. You know, like kind of. I think the general feeling is, you know, getting deep on themes we've touched on before about like how do you break into the industry? Who do you have to talk to?
Yeah.
Who's there to help you? What's the support
Yeah.
system? We're not done. We don't give up. We're not burnt out. It's just like there's a point where we're like,
You have to
all right,
We need a reset.
we're not seeing
Yeah.
forward
We need to
momentum,
refocus.
so we need to just like Dave and I might want to look into different things with houses or careers or our wife relationship, whatever
Plus,
we have.
I
you know,
mean,
like there's different shit
like,
people got to do. And
Other
people
members have
kids.
awesome stuff. Like Pat just had his first kid, and we're all fucking family.
Yeah.
We've gone all over the country
Like this
together
band
now.
means nothing compared to you having a child.
To me,
you know what I mean?
You having a kid is so much more valuable.
Now, if
You've
you-
got to be there, man.
Yeah, if
Exactly.
you guys were touring the country, it's a different situation.
For sure.
But that's
well,
the thing is,
that would be a discussion, but right now it's
But
no
that's-
discussion because that
that's a
kid,
no-brainer.
that kid is more important than him coming up here and trying to get an idea out that
Yes.
maybe isn't working. You know, like that shit
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
it's always tough. Just, I mean, not getting burnt out too, though. You know,
Avoiding getting burned out is tough. You have to be
you
so
have to have
careful.
the drive.
And our
a
decision
great
to
point.
take a break right now and focus on some other stuff, passion
it sounds to me
projects,
it's not.
life.
It's not really about the drive. Though.
It's a smart.
I don't
it's
think
not
it's
nothing to do
ever
with
been
drive.
the issue.
No,
Right.
drive's not the issue. It's we are committed to something that we talked about when we started this band, which was there can't be elephants in the room. There can't be stuff left unsaid.
everything on the table.
We have
that's-
everything on the table.
that's why we're
and
talking
no
about this
egos.
right now.
Yep, no egos. And we also have to make sure that if we're doing this, it has to be because we love working together. And we do. So there's no question in my mind that we're going to continue to work together in the future. But if we are going to do that, we have to take this break.
right.
We
Yeah.
have to chill for a bit. We have to focus on other aspects of our lives.
And it's-
so that when we do come back in a later date, we are in positions where we can pursue it the way we want.
And
I
a
think
lot
it's
of it,
gonna
too,
help in
is like
different
that-
It's
dimensions
going to be
too.
huge, man.
That classic,
I've never done this.
The classic thing that you hear is like the Einstein thing. I think it's a misquote or it's bullshit, but the whole classic quote you hear is like, a definition of insanity is doing the same thing and
Correct.
expecting different results.
Yeah, it's
but like,
exact.
whether that's the legit quote or not, it's super true. Because
Oh, yeah.
like
It's undeniable.
we've been in this routine for I think probably the last 4 to 6 months where we're not really seeing
Waiting for something to catch on.
kind of and
Yeah.
it's hard to push forward when you're not getting positive feedback. And
When
it's
in
not, it's not to say
reality, what
it's
we
not
wanna
to
do is
say
make albums.
it's not to say that people aren't still finding out about us. Fresh likes on the page,
Oh, I'm
listening to this
sure, yeah.
podcast. Like we
People-
appreciate the hell out of everybody for
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Any support, even if it's just
Yeah.
listens and likes, doesn't even have to be money or anything. It's wonderful. It's more than we could ever ask for. Like I just checked the other day on our Spotify artist thing. This is huge for me because I've only put out however many records with whatever groups or whatever. Almost all of the songs on everything we've ever released on Spotify
Yeah.
has at least 1,000 plays.
That's cool, man.
That's 1,000 times that people have heard those
So
songs
that's
just
the
on
album
Spotify.
and chamber.
Yes,
That's
Chambers
cool.
at almost 2,000 plays on
Nice.
just Spotify.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's so
And that
crazy.
doesn't. I mean, we're not fucking Taylor Swift, but
No, but that means
I never-
people are.
It means
people
thousands
care.
of people have heard our shit.
Yeah.
yeah, because that's just
crazy.
one. That's just Spotify. It's one subsection.
Yes,
Because some people
that's
might listen on
crazy, man.
YouTube or Apple Music. So like to me, that's more than I could ever ask for. And I think what it is too.
That's
with this,
the most important reason why I even write music.
This whole,
why
like-
my most cherished skill set that I have is to write.
See,
this
music.
whole like
Yeah.
taking a step back and refocusing thing and trying to find out what the priorities of the band are and rediscover that like fire from like
Yes.
writing that first record. Like I think a lot of that is super necessary with just
if you
getting
want to be in a healthy band, it is
back
Yes,
to the point
sure.
where we feel like that is the focus as opposed to me trying to like micro.
It can't be forced.
Manage certain things,
Then
or
it's
us
just
like
a day job, and you're going to dread doing it.
you can't schedule the creativity, and then when you do that,
You don't
people
want
get
it.
burnt out when they get no creativity out,
Yes.
and they're not getting anywhere, and then you're just like, well, why are you here if you're not doing anything?
Well, you don't want it to
Or
feel
it's
like a
just-
job. That's the
It
problem.
can't.
It can't
And
feel like a job.
it has
Which
a
is-
tendency to, and none of us
It's
do it
tough
for money.
because I've been treating it
None
that
of us do it
way,
for money.
which is like. But the reason I've been treating it that way is because there might be deficiencies like in other parts of my life. Like
Yeah.
maybe I need a fucking hobby,
Which is
instead
why
of going
this
over
break is such a
spreadsheets.
big deal
you know?
because it's going to get us all to make some forward progress in our personal lives, and then when we check back in and we get back to work, we're going to be in better places.
Yeah.
But you have to take that time and those breaks to
There's
focus
a
on things
difference
that matter in your day to day.
between I think there's a very fine balance between like doing it for the love of the game, I guess, as they say.
Yeah.
Yes,
And also
that's such
to
a good
be
point.
professional and push it forward. You know what I mean? Because you have to be pushing forward.
You want to do
But
both.
so that makes you kind of turn it into a job in a lot of ways. So
Yes, at least
but
that's like how I work.
I've learned that
in my personal life with everything, not
the
just the band.
best-
Like if I'm
yes.
doing something, I'm going
there's got to
fucking
be
hard.
a sweet spot.
But
to
that-
it.
that pushes people-
the best way to push stuff forward and have it be maximum success, minimal effort
is to want to do it.
is to do it at the right times and the right ways. And if
Yes.
you're just pushing the same shit and it's not working, then you're doing the wrong thing.
Pushing rope.
You know what I mean? Push and roll. Fucking guy.
Yeah, I always
AKA
wonder, like,
shitting.
I mean, we talked somewhat about like what the next generation's gonna look like.
No, it's not shitting. That's right.
It's not shitting.
It's shooting low.
No, it's a limp dick because you're just pushing rope. It doesn't go anywhere.
Oh, man.
But I wonder who's
It's like
gonna
pushing a rope.
who's gonna keep that metal sort of tidal wave going.
I think it'll
Yeah,
change
yeah.
Because of
That's
the way
the
that
thing.
knows.
yeah,
'Cause
the
we've
way
seen
that-
It's gonna change,
a
yeah.
million times.
yeah, it has to. I mean, it has to. Right?
It has to. It
I don't
has
know
to.
where it's going to go, but I mean, a thing that we're not really acknowledging because I don't think we personally maybe listen to a lot of it is like the commercialized, metalized rock music, like Bad
Yes.
Wolves and all that kind of
Are
shit.
you talking about like K-rock music? Butt
Yeah,
rock?
but it's
Butt
got a
rock, but it's
heavier
not
edge
really.
to
It's
it.
just
You know what I'm
rock
saying? Like
with like double bass and stuff like that.
Five Finger Death Punch is a perfect example
Yes,
because
they
a lot
are.
of people think they're
their
metal
drummer Charlie,
and
man,
whatever,
so good.
but they are so huge and they do such a good job at what they do, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
yeah,
That I
and
mean,
they
they're
only do arenas, man.
they're blazing that
Dude,
trail.
They only do
Yes,
arenas.
they're professional musicians for a reason.
Correct.
I think, dude,
There's
I remember
always a
seeing like
reason.
a video of like the Sum 41 guitarist like shredding balls, and I'm like, oh, this guy's a real musician.
but you would never know it.
But he plays in the Sum 41.
Did you see this
Yeah.
goes in perfect line with that? And I hope it was a joke, but I don't think
Billy
it was.
Corgan.
There was an ad.
Oh
of-
yeah.
Yeah, there was an ad for Five Finger Death Punch when they needed a bass player or guitarist or something at one point, and I hope it was a joke, but I don't know what it was. And it was like qualifications like professional, dedicated, blah blah blah. Can't be over 5.5 feet tall because the singer's a shorter guy. And I was
That's
like,
not a thing.
that is a
That's a
perfect
joke.
example.
That's
like
them shitting on him.
Even
Because
if
I know
it-
for a
It
fact
has to
Charlie's
be.
over.
even if it
There's
he's
no
sitting
way.
on a drum kit.
That's fair.
But that's my point. Like that I think that goes in line with what you're saying is like they are professional, so there is that standard. Because if it was just like a passion project and it mattered less
Okay, yeah,
to
I see
have
what you're
that
saying.
image upheld
Yeah,
and
no
stuff,
one would care.
like they'd be like, oh, it'd be like our band where I'm a fucking monster and I stand next to Pat and he's like, what's up, bud? He's the
Right,
baby
yeah.
Yoda meme. He's like,
Yeah, you're just towering over him.
yeah.
But it's like I always wonder whether, metal's dying out as far as popularity goes, or if there's just so many different ways to listen to
tough.
music.
I would
I
argue
think
that
there's so much. I think we're in a musical renaissance period.
I would argue
I
in the
think there's
main
so many cross genres and so much
Yeah.
music that it's
Yeah.
just becoming ultra specific.
Well, also just the streaming in general is.
It's just like the
weird-
podcast thing. You're gonna find bands that have big followings and they check specific tiny
here's
little
the
boxes
perfect
only.
And-
perfect example of that is intervals. It
Yeah.
is guitar driven,
Yeah.
technical, instrumental, hummable music, and fully
That's
independent.
catchy, though.
It's
Yeah.
fully
And
independent.
it's fully independent. It's just Aaron Marshall.
And
That's
he
the
makes
thing.
he
And
makes
he's
some sort of
incredible.
living
It's-
being a professional musician of some context.
And he plays only big theaters and shit. It's awesome.
It's
And-
just you can
Good
do
for
it
him.
all at home. Is part of
Exactly.
the thing.
But some people
Yeah.
don't even know who he is. It's like that's the point. And it's just segmented. The whole
Sure.
industry's segmented.
Yes.
But
Him
also
and Plenty, dude. Oh
because
my God.
there's so much out there, it like monetarily devalues everyone. because
Yes.
there's so much more and it's so much more easily accessible. Like you pay DistroKid or you pay CD Baby, you put your shit on Spotify.
Yeah.
Someone can just listen to it. They don't gotta fucking pay. They're not gonna buy your record for $10. So then
So it's diluted. Like the
everything
pool's
comes in a
diluted.
different stream. But then if that didn't happen, you wouldn't get these guys who like are the like Misha wouldn't even be a thing.
Right.
Like John
Yeah.
Brown from Monuments
Yeah.
wouldn't be a guy. Pliny,
John Brown's
Aaron
awesome.
Marshall, fucking Rick Graham, fucking Guthrie Govan. Like these guys just probably wouldn't be doing what they're doing.
Right.
When like
It's hard to say.
I'm
It's hard
grateful
to
that
say.
they are.
It's hard to say.
Or they would have broken a different
Because some
way.
of the guys you mentioned, multiple of them are so good. It's
If-
like it's almost inevitable they're
You
going to
almost
make it.
had to.
Yeah, there's just no way. Like John Brown from Monuments, the dude is so driven and so skilled.
But
and
here's-
writes
but
compelling music.
here's the
It's like,
thing,
there's
it's like-
just no way he's not going to make it
outside
through.
of like our subgenre, who the fuck knows who Monuments is? And I'm not saying that as like a negative
who's
thing.
to
I'm
say-
just
That's a
saying,
tough
like,
question for me to answer.
because we
you know
don't
what I
know.
mean?
We'll
Yeah,
never
we don't
know
know.
because we know these people.
They know.
Yes.
They know who the fuck knows.
But who's to
you
say
bet your ass they know.
there
But-
weren't just super talented guitarists before that just never got a break? You know,
That's what-
Oh, they
there
were.
plenty
They
of
were.
them.
Yeah,
but
there's
like
a ton.
now they can just start a fucking Instagram page or
Yeah.
make a YouTube
And
page.
to me, that will always be better than how it was before.
I agree, but
I understand there was more
and the,
money
The
before,
tough part about that, though,
but-
is you have to split the difference, and that's what, as part of the strain of us wanting to take this break, I think part of that is like, what the fuck do you focus on in 2020? Do you focus on
Yes.
literally just
We need to
Instagram
know,
clips?
you
Do you
know?
do
We need to
just
learn.
YouTube clips?
it's
Do you do
constantly evolving. Is the
paid
problem.
marketing?
Constantly evolving, and it's
Like,
hard
does
to
your
stay on
live show
track.
matter at a regional capacity? You know, like does your light show matter
Well,
more
that's my
than
opinion, but-
you nailing the solo? If you're one note off on the solo, but the light show looks good, is that better than you playing perfectly spot on, but it's very dry to look at? Like, we don't know the answers to these questions. Even bands that we might like or we might respect, or they've been around or they're newer, you go see their show, like there's still more to it than them just literally standing on stage playing an instrument. And there's a reason for that, because I would be satiated by that, but
But you have to be a total.
some people need the
package.
flashing lights.
Yes.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Well, it definitely adds to the show. It definitely
think
gives you a
s- I
certain
think-
effect.
Lighting
It
is
definitely
a huge
does,
aspect
but
of
if
shows
I'm
being
at a
cool.
show and I close my eyes and I can hear them play it, that to me,
better
the
be
person
good.
I am, that's
Better
good
be
enough
good,
for me.
yeah. They better be good.
So it's like there's so much to it that
That's why all the great bands are tight live and have big shows
and I think what
with
that
lighting and all that
I,
stuff.
I'm kind of going through this myself. I think what it is like I'm focusing in on like what is my thing as a musician? Like what do I do for me musically that I like, that I want to do, that I enjoy? And is it doing business? Is it putting out content, or is it just noodling? But if I'm just noodling and no one is there to enjoy it or collaborate or share with me, like, is that as fulfilling as if I put it on Instagram and somebody wanted to reach out and collaborate?
I
Like,
mean,
I don't know the answers to these
That's
questions
me right
yet.
now. I literally just pick up a guitar. I barely even plug in anymore. I just pick it up, play around.
We're
with
gonna
it.
change that though. We're gonna change
Yeah.
that 'cause I have
So
some
it's-
stuff planned. That
It's just
we gotta play
fascinating
video
because
game
we're in a
songs.
landscape
video
where
games, yep.
there's so much accessibility and the technology is so cheap, like you were
Yes.
saying about everything earlier. But I see, maybe because I'm so obsessive with shit, but I can see how anybody could be so easily overwhelmed by
Oh, yeah,
just the possibilities. It's like option paralysis. Like, what should I focus on? What do I want to focus
all
on?
these
What am I
different-
good
Yeah,
at?
that's a good
And then
point.
beyond that, like, what do I even fucking have the skills to accommodate? If I don't own a DSLR camera and I don't know how to color grade, I'm not going
That's
to put
where
out a
I've
pro
been at
video.
in my life for
you know
the
what I
past
mean?
year. Now I know exactly where I stand. Like
Yeah.
I can produce other people's stuff.
Yeah.
I can do sessions here in my home studio. I can teach drums or guitar.
Yeah.
And I can do session work.
Yeah. So it's
So
just
there's my skill. There's
answering
my
that question
frame.
though is
But
like
it
such
took
a
me
different
forever to answer
thing.
that question. Yeah. it
But
took
the
me
nice
forever.
thing is, like, you've got resources, right? So like if you
Yes.
want pictures taken, we know photographers, or like
You've
I could
covered all the
half-ass it
bases,
for you, or
yes.
like we could
Yes,
do video
yes.
and we can
Yep,
edit all
yep,
this
yep.
stuff together. But if you're just a kid in a bedroom in Iowa, I don't
Yeah,
know
you have
why
no
it's always
clue
the
what
kid
to
in
do.
Iowa for me, but like you don't know how to edit video, you don't have the newest phone, you don't have a modeler, you don't know how to DI guitar.
I mean,
but you want to
be-
get out there, it'll get out there, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like, will it get lost in a sea of higher quality stuff of a lesser player? I don't
Right,
know.
Right. And it's not to say you shouldn't still have connections. I think those connections are huge.
They're
you know,
the
like
most
you guys
important.
knowing Steve, just to take pictures, you know, just to have experience with photography and
Yes.
videography.
Yeah.
And stuff
It's
like that.
huge.
It's gigantic.
You learn a lot just by being around people who are
Yes.
better than you at things that you're not good at.
yeah,
Yeah.
because he
And then you're forced to
specializes
learn.
in that area.
Yes.
So
Yep.
you always want those kind of connections.
100%, man.
but you can do things on your own for sure.
Yeah. It's it's an investment thing too. I think
it's a strange area that we're in right now.
it's just like it seems to me like, and maybe I'm just jaded or whatever, but with the music industry, like the more free time or the more capital you have going in, the easier those things will be. Because like I have a job where I'm away from my home where I can do like music related work 50 hours a week.
Yes.
Even if I got 10 of those hours back or 5 of those hours back, that's 5 hours I could put into developing a skill that could also facilitate. Because, like, I know I'm a pretty nasty player, I guess. Like, I'm good. People tell me I'm pretty good. Whatever. That's fine. I don't care. I take that for granted. Can I put out a pro video that's color graded and synced correctly to show somebody that I can do a thing that I think is cool?
It's tough.
Because if not,
it's a lot more work.
Should I even bother shooting it on my
is.
fucking iPhone? Like,
it's a lot.
sideways?
It's easier if you shoot it on your phone.
But will
you
it
can
come
do
out the
all
way
that on your phone.
Will it come out the way I want it to? You know what I mean?
Maybe.
But
Hard to say.
that's the. I
Yeah.
think that's what can easily get in people's way.
Yes.
So I mean, I'm being a hypocrite by trying to say like just do whatever you want to do, but
You kind of have to.
I have to do that.
You're gonna live one time, so maybe make it the best you can. You know?
don't know that we got those brain computers coming.
That's true.
Yeah, and like
We
in
might all
Futurama-
live long enough to where we uplink.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can Jeff Bezos
now
just
we're
do the
just some
fucking
weird-
Skynet brain
weird
computer thing
cyborg shit.
already?
Well,
Like, come on.
Futurama has
If
all the
I'm gonna be
brains
a
or the heads in the
cyborg,
jars,
Yes,
you know?
fuck yeah.
If I'm gonna be a cyborg, I want to be the lady from Total Recall. That's like 2 weeks
With the 3 tits.
with the head. No, where he just wears her head. He throws her, and she's like, "I got a surprise for you," and blows up and fucking kills a bunch of people.
Yeah.
We're so dumb.
No, it's cool. Man, how long have we been doing this?
I
for?
know. I
Like
feel
2
like we've
hours.
covered everything.
I don't know.
It's a good one.
We've covered literally nothing.
But that's all we were
Except
trying to
for
cover,
everything.
except for everything. Yeah, yeah.
Tell
Everything
us
and
stuff about you. You haven't talked at all.
So I'll say this real quick to close up kind of where my head's at. You're probably going to end up being a guest that we have on here regularly.
Yeah, it's,
You don't live far. You're from. We are attempting. Not attempting. We're going to. Our podcast is gonna be on your network, and so we're like partners. So we're gonna be doing your guys' stuff. We're gonna. I'm definitely gonna be back on Clear Shots for sure.
yeah.
Definitely
That
gonna be
needs to
back
happen
on Clear Shots. And
Less
you
work
gotta
for
come
you,
back
he'll just
and
keep
do another
talking.
one for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the idea.
That's
I mean,
the idea.
realistically, it's like if everyone that I know a couple people in the town who are gonna who are doing podcasts. So I'm just like, well, let's all work together.
Yeah, let's.
Why would you not?
Let's
Why
do
would
that.
you not?
Pimp the impulse stuff. Talk.
Yeah.
Tell people
What do
about
you
what's
have
going
going
on.
on?
So
Yeah.
the general idea is just we started a podcast. We did it like I don't know, at 17 or whatever, and then we saw 2 other people start a podcast. Then you guys started a podcast. I was like, fuck it, let's all cross promote.
Correct.
We'll call it a network, even though there's no contracts or anything. Anybody can just fucking walk away.
We're
when
just
they have
working
to.
together.
It's
Yeah.
it's literally just a handshake, basically, is all it is.
That's all
It's
it needs
saying,
to be, dude.
Hey,
It's
like,
us.
let's be all one thing, and you can just go to that website. It's called impulsepodcast.com, and it has just a page for each one of the podcasts. And if, like, it'll send you right to our website or whatever if you click on our show. But I wanted to give everybody sort of the freedom to be able to edit the page or whatever and put whatever you want on there for your own podcast. So I think it's a cool idea. I think if anybody
is.
else is doing like a podcast where you just sit down, talk to each other, let us know, because I would like to just talk to you and have us,
See how it
be a
see
part of
about
it.
being a part of the network. Yeah,
because that's
if there's a network of podcasts for people to listen to, there's such a better
well. I
chance of
think there's a
visibility.
lot of shows that don't really have a specific topic.
Yeah,
Like this one.
Yeah, and I think people like that though. I
Yes.
think people like listening.
people
to just-
like hearing conversations that make them feel like they're having a conversation in the room with
Yeah.
them.
And so I want to find more podcasts that do that and put them
Yes.
together.
That's what we try to do.
And I think a big thing that you were saying, I think before we started recording, is that, and I've been thinking about this since you said it, is like, how often do we actually do exactly this?
You don't.
You don't ever just sit the fuck down and talk, right? That's
because
what you
you're,
said.
you're texting, you're tweeting, you're watching a movie, or you're doing whatever.
I've
'Cause
got Game Grumps on in the background.
there's always something in the background. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's something that it's fun to do because of the fact that you don't do it very often. And I think you make a connection, whether
Yeah.
it's,
You
no
get
matter
to know
what you
people.
talk about.
You get to know
Yeah.
people. Always, you get to know better
Yeah.
for sure.
So, yeah, I mean, and it's so easy to do.
Like
it's
this one was weird for me because it's like I'm used to going in with people that I don't know that well.
Right.
So I get to know them better. It's like, I'm not going to get to know you better. That's not going to happen.
Right.
So,
but you also have things that you've shared in the past that you
Correct.
can bring up. And
yes, yeah. So the viewers, the listeners, they get to know us better all through that. You know what I mean?
And that's a good thing.
And that's
especially if
most
you have
important.
Yeah.
Is like you want the viewers, listeners, whatever, you want them to not only be able to relate with you, but you want them to get to know you.
To feel like they know you. Yes.
Because then they're going to care. They're going to be invested.
Right.
And we want that. I want people to be invested in my life story. Not from any ego place, but just because it's going to put, if anything, you know what the best thing it does for me to have multiple people listen to me and go, oh, he said he was going to do this. I hope he does it. It's going to make me hold myself accountable and force me to try to do the things I want to do with my life.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And
in
like
a
if
unique
you go,
way. Because how do you answer to the stranger who has no stake in the game, who's going to go, oh, you still doing this thing you said you were going to do? And I go, no, well, the thing is, you go, yeah, very cool. I don't care. Bye.
Yeah.
So you didn't do it. You're a bitch. Bye.
You're a bitch.
You know what I mean? Like,
That's what I mean.
how's it feel to not do the things you say you're going to do?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel
It
good.
does. It does hold you accountable too if you say
Yeah.
something on here. And I like that idea. But I think the bottom line really is that it's fun to do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
whether people listen
Yeah.
or watch or whatever, it doesn't matter because I have fun doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Oh, my God.
yeah, check out Clear Shots. Clear Shots Podcast.
Yes, Clear Shots Podcast. Well, and what's the network
on
called again? Impulse Network, right?
ImpulsePodcast.com.
Yes.
And it's got all the shows on there.
We are
It's got
on there.
this on there, yeah.
We're on there. So everybody wins. You can see all that shit.
Yeah, it's cool. So check it out.
And now I got to go do Clear Shots.
Yep.
And we got to do a Let's Play.
Yeah.
But what are we going to play?
You're gonna play Adventures of Bayou Billy.
No, we're not. We're going to probably play Criminals Under Arrest, but it's going to be a 4-minute episode.
What you should
Because
play?
at 4 minutes into the first
You
stage,
quit.
there's a hard lock where you can't be the boss
you
because of bad game design, and you just have to turn the game
What you
off.
should play?
And that's a fact.
it's actually
That's
a
a fact.
The
Yep.
fucking the Mickey and Minnie Mystery Carnival fucking Capcom game that was
It's
so
just
good.
everything I don't care about.
Fuck you.
If we were gonna really do a Let's Play, we're so gonna do like Halo
Captain
or
Crunch.
something.
It's
or,
Captain Crunch Crunchling Adventures, what it actually is.
feed your Crunchling so they grow
Did
big
you know
and
what
strong.
game we need to get? We need to get multiple copies of the Nerf first-person shooter arena game that they came
That
out with
was
for
just
PC
the
in the
Dune
early
copy?
2000s.
I didn't know they did
That
that.
is godly. And then we need to have a LAN party.
Do you want to get Super Noah's Ark 3D, which
Nope.
is just Doom?
I'll do everything to
Should
avoid
just
it.
have a LAN party anyway, whether it's Halo
We have to have a
3
LAN
or-
party.
It's got to be
anyways,
Halo.
Yeah, I think
First
Halo
LAN
3 's
party
better.
I've ever had was when my brother went to college. He went to SUNY Canton for physics. When he went there, all of his roommates had Xboxes and stuff, and Jake had an Xbox, I'm pretty sure. So there was like 16 of us. 2 people per console, 8 consoles, all in the LAN party,
Fuck yeah.
doing 16-player Blood Gulch.
Oh yeah,
It was wild.
Sounds like a nightmare. I love it.
No, it was
it
incredible.
was so
dude.
crazy when that game
So
came out.
crazy. I'd never experienced anything like that.
I spent so many hours of my
Still haven't.
awkward teen life playing Halo 2 and calling people losers.
It's so
on
good.
Xbox.
It's so
Yes.
good.
Lots of swearing on the original Xbox Live.
I played like double team with this one kid who was super good, and he was like,
There's always one kid,
But
who's
he
a
was-
scumbag.
he was this-
and he whips everybody's ass.
he was
Yep.
this scrawny kid, and he was such a nice, like timid kid outside, but he would get like internet muscles real bad because he was real good.
Yeah.
So he would basically just fucking carry me in my backpack, like all the way across this double team matchup. So he would make like Smurf accounts and shit. And his thing would be like
That's so funny.
kids would come after him. He's like a 5'8" beanpole kid. And kids would come after him online, and he would like turn around and like BXR them or do like fucking just like double tap him in the head or like whatever the old school
I like the
shit
dudes
was.
that jump over the guy backwards and then melee him. In the
Yeah.
back.
Scum.
So he would just go, "Yo, get off me, bad kid!" like over the mic to the fucking kid. And I'm like, I know this kid in person. I'm like, I could break this fucking kid in half like a twig, but he's like wrecking my fucking shit
Yeah.
playing this game.
Yeah, he's BRing you hard.
I
dude.
remember-
Halo 3
I-
is the first game I played online that I felt like I was developing any skill in and like loved that game online. The online was incredible.
It
Halo
gets so
3.
hard.
I was so
too,
stuck
once you
in
get
Halo
ranked.
2, dude. Though, like
Oh,
that's
I
the
can't
thing.
imagine.
So the thing with Halo 2 though is like
Probably my favorite story of all. No, that's not true. Halo 1's my favorite story of all of the games, but Halo 2 is like my favorite missions.
Oh man,
like
Halo 2
to
had
actually
the
play the
coolest
missions
campaign.
is so fun.
So like
campaign missions are fun,
but with
the story itself is like
Yes.
the most
I
iconic
have
in one.
I have this weird thing. Like obviously, if people have listened to these podcasts, they know like I'm twitchy and I'm weird and I got like things. One of my
Yeah.
things is like, and it was way worse when I was younger. It manifested harder. I would get obsessed with like certain things, like pictures or objects or shapes or whatever.
Yeah,
Like it just like
totally, man.
sticks in my brain for
That
some
doesn't
reason.
surprise me at all.
And one of them was like the top tier symbols from Halo 2 in ranked, because like from 44 or whatever on, it was like little symbols. So it was like
Yes.
the quarter moon, the half moon, the full moon. I was
Yes, I
fucking
remember that.
obsessed with that 49, the comet, the blue comet. I don't know what it was, but like
Look
It was
that
like
up.
mythic or something. It was like mythic rank or some shit I would call it. I don't remember.
I don't remember, but I know it was like 50 was the Halo, 49 was the comet. I think 48 was a blacked out sun, 47 was a sun, and then it was like moons and shit.
Yeah.
But like I remember all the little triangles and they had all the colors, and then the box ones were like 42, 43. Oh man,
Yes.
it's so nostalgic. But like I was so obsessed with those stupid fucking shapes and colors. There's something wrong with me. Yes, that shit.
Incredible.
Oh yeah.
I fucking that fucking stupid
Unreal.
comet. And then when
Yeah, because when you see it,
That
yeah,
shit.
yeah, because when
It's
you
like
see
hot
it, you know
shit,
you're gonna
dude.
lose. You're going to die if you see someone with that.
If you got on the game, and
Well, no,
you saw
because what
somebody
you
had
knew
it,
is-
you're like, well, this game's gonna be shit.
Yeah.
Because you
'Cause
knew
I'm
they
gonna
were
get
cheating.
melted and
They
there's
were
nothing to
actually
do.
fucking cheating. After a certain point,
Probably.
everybody
Yeah,
in
yeah.
those top tiers, I think the furthest we ever got was like 43, and then I just got fucking
Yeah.
wrecked.
That's what it was like in the early days of Rocket League when I saw Rocketeer.
Car
And I was
soccer,
like,
you mean?
I'm
You'd see
gonna
someone
die.
Rocketeer and you go, well,
And
this
he's
ain't good.
upside down, flip like flying across the map
It's
the entire
Krenavi,
time.
yeah.
Doesn't touch the ground. Doesn't touch the
Yeah,
ground at
just
all. The
only
entire
aerial.
game. 5
And you're like,
minutes.
he didn't come down to get boost once.
Nope.
What
Somehow-
cheat is he
yeah,
using?
somehow he's still
Yeah,
unlimited
what is
boost.
that?
He hacked in the ultimate car
And you're a
soccer game.
respectable Rocket League player, man.
I just got
You're
back
a
into it the other
respectable
day.
Rocket League player. I haven't played Rocket League in a while.
I felt
Because
so
you've been playing
rusty.
fucking Diablo.
I've been obsessed with Diablo 3. Yeah, absolutely. You know how I was just talking earlier about how none of our wives have any business being with us?
This is why.
Yeah, Diablo 3 is gonna end my marriage.
Yeah, for
And
me, it's
and when it
Destiny
does,
2.
I will not think twice.
Yeah.
Because I'll be way too focused on my Demon Hunter build or
Yes.
some shit.
I play way too much Destiny 2. Not so much now.
Destiny
but
2 is good, man.
It's
Great
just
game.
so you invest yourself in the character.
I love that game. That game is, you know, it came out
It's
a
free
couple
to play
years
now.
ago. It is, yeah. It came out a couple years ago, and me and Steve and our buddy, fellow buddy, and friend of the band too, Matt Farden.
It's
we
just like when
we
you do
ran
raids.
the whole campaign
Yeah.
online together, the three of us, and it was so good.
It's just so wild when you do raids and you all have
Yep.
a certain responsibility and you have to.
And the
not die.
expansions
And then
are
when you do,
awesome.
everyone yells at you. They're like, "What the fuck are you doing over there?" Like,
Yeah, yeah.
hold your own.
Oh my god. Yeah,
It's
I think
tough.
the newest console I have is a 360, and then I got.
Nothing
I
wrong
mean,
with that.
I mean, we have a Switch now. We have a Switch.
Switch
Does
is
the Xbox 360 have Halo like trilogy?
No.
Only
I
the
don't think so.
Xbox One and PC has it now.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
I gotta get that. Whatever. I don't know. We're good, man.
Let's
We've
go-
been
I'm gonna
doing
go
this
watch
for
the
like
McGregor
2
fight,
hours.
yeah.
McGregor fight's on tonight.
Oh, that's
we definitely
tonight?
got to see that.
Yeah, what time is it?
who's gonna win? I know
It's
nothing
almost
about.
9,
I
so
know
it's
nothing
definitely
about
time to start heading
UFC
to Vinny's.
or MMA or any of that. But
Oh,
who's
me
gonna
and
win?
me and-
the guy with the hat or the guy with the chest
Me
tattoo?
and Seth are very deep.
I think Connor's gonna win. Honestly,
Is
I
he
think
like?
Connor's gonna win.
Is he like more
but
of a
I
like
wouldn't
a go getter? Is he like tougher?
he's the dude. He's basically done everything you could possibly do in his divisions, and then he went and fought a boxer and lost, and then quit for a while. Now he's coming back.
Also, weird note, he didn't fight a boxer, he fought the greatest boxer to ever live.
Yeah.
And he landed more significant strikes on that boxer than Manny
They went
Pacquiao
like
did.
12 rounds, probably, right? It was 12
Yeah, they
rounds?
went all 12 rounds.
Wow.
And that's a fact. That's a
He's a
statistic.
tough guy.
I
Yeah.
like
Tough
I
guy.
caught bits and pieces about
Conor
this
McGregor is
on a Rogan
a
podcast
special
recently.
thing.
They were talking about this fight, and
Yes.
I only know that much about it. That
It's really
It's kind of a
it's
toss-up
mostly
or whatever,
hyped
but-
just because McGregor's coming
Yeah.
back.
Which I don't like because Cowboy deserves to be a legend.
Well, he deserves a fight with Connor too.
He
I think.
I
absolutely
just like
does,
that he
yeah.
goes by Cowboy.
Yes.
His name is Donald Cerrone.
No, it's fucking
and he's
Cowboy.
one of the greatest.
Dude, when he
he's one of
came
the
out,
greatest, but
I
he's
watched the press
incredible.
conference the other day, and he came out with a fucking cowboy hat and like a leather jacket, and sat down, and the way the like The light
He
was
looked like
blocking.
fucking
He looked like the
Undertaker.
Undertaker.
I
It was
love
insane.
that. Please keep doing that. Treat him like he's the last gunslinger.
Yeah.
Like it's such good marketing. They actually have done a good job of marketing Cerrone in this because they are acknowledging that he holds like more records than any other MMA fighter in history. He has like more head kick knockouts, more wins, more knockouts, more submissions, more fight of the night bonuses.
Well, Connor was like a big shit talker, and that's why he got so big. Really.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, he was a phenomenal. But
Could
he
he back
backed
it
it
up,
up.
though?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So
He
that's-
did back
that
it up
matters
multiple
then.
Every
times.
time he was like,
Yep.
"I'm gonna knock this guy out first round." Knocks the guy out first round.
I mean, the most famous is Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
For what weight class was it? Lightweight?
No, it was flyweight maybe.
No, flyweigh's
whatever's
125.
under.
That's
whatever's
Demetrius.
under lightweight. Right.
Welter's 170. Lightweight's 155.
Oh, maybe it was lightweight. Aldo.
And then 145 is what?
All I know it was
Bantamweight?
bantamweight. Yeah.
It was bantamweight. Yeah,
Had to have been
100%. 145 bantamweight.
Because I don't think Aldo's fought 155.
Aldo was the bantamweight champion and had a feud with McGregor for like a year because they had like a fight that got canceled. McGregor beat Chad Mendez for the interim title
Yeah.
and then fought Aldo, and they did a press conference tour, and he talks such nuclear shit on Aldo,
Yeah.
so bad. And then when they fought, he knocked him out with a left
Yeah.
in 17
His left
seconds
hand is
of the
jammed.
first round and won the world bantamweight title. And that was
yeah.
like the big explosion of like, he's fucking here, motherfuckers. And he was
And
already
then he
there.
made
I think the Dennis
millions
Seaver
of
fight was when
dollars.
he started his deal. When he fought Dennis Seaver, which was like, what, 2 fights before that? Was it? He fought
could've
Dennis
been.
Seaver, then he fought Mendez for the interim.
I think you're right.
Right? Because when he fought Seaver, I believe is when he had the line where he said, we're not here to whatever, we're here to take over. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? He said, and like 2,000 Irish
Oh, that
people
was
flew
so
from
long
Ireland
ago.
to come see his fight in Vegas, and they just took over the whole place, like thousands of Irish people.
Yep.
And people were like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah.
Who
and now
is
he's got
this
his
guy?
own. He's got his own whiskey and shit now.
Yeah,
so-
now
Then
he
Las
has proper
Vegas
12
ran out of
whiskey.
Jameson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I should have got a bottle of that for the fight. That proper 12.
Yeah,
You
good luck.
Fucked up.
I did.
whatever.
It's whatever.
You
I mean,
can
if
still
it's
make a liquor store,
it's a good
but you're not
fight-
gonna because you're walking to Vinny's, and that's like 5 blocks away.
I mean, if it's a good fight, you might not even have time to drink it. So
Yeah, true.
true. No, if it's a good fight, you'll have tons of time because
No,
they'll go 5
actually, yeah.
rounds. A good fight from those 2 guys will be a 5-round fucking epic masterpiece.
hit me with that Ronda Rousey
Where
fight where she
there's
just
a
leveled
tight,
that bitch in 2 seconds.
close
Yeah.
decision win.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's
All right.
let's frig off, dude.
Yeah,
We're
we started
good.
to wrap
I'm
it up and then-
starving, dude. I'm
I'm
starving.
also hungry.
We got to get food.
Okay, bye. Wicked bye. Listen to
Hey.
us and buy stuff.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Yeah. Bye.
These are fun.
That was awesome. That was fucking awesome.